pivotal moment. The old ways are crumbling, and people everywhere are searching for a new path. Enter the New Earth Tennessee Micronation, an audacious leap towards freedom, innovation, and holistic living nestled right in America's heartland. America's heartland is more than a location, it's a symbol of resilience and unity. Here we're forging a revolutionary way of life that honors nature and champions true sovereignty. For those ready to break free from the ordinary, welcome to the New Earth Tennessee Micronation. This is your call to action. Picture this: a life of true freedom, surrounded by nature's splendor and a community of pioneers. New Earth Tennessee Micronation is where sovereignty, sustainability, and community come alive. Our core features? The Regenesis Health Center, groundbreaking organic agriculture, homes crafted with sacred designs and cutting-edge sustainable technologies. We're redefining self-sufficiency. We're not just building a community, we're honoring ancient wisdom. By integrating indigenous knowledge, we ensure a respectful and holistic approach to our foundation. Introducing Golden Tickets, your exclusive gateway to this transformative community. Only 1,000 tickets grant you a coveted spot among the trailblazers. Golden Ticket holders gain access to the Sovereignty Academy admission and course, expert-led personal journey to sovereignty in America, Canada, and Australia, soon to be expanded. New priority. Residents experience a new way life in a harmonious, regenerative, sovereign jurisdiction. Regenesis clinics access exclusive health and life-changing technologies, anti-aging and detoxification therapies. New Earth Pharmacy products, first in line, access to innovative wellness items. Lazarus Initiative Gold membership, lifetime access, upgrade or gift. Exclusive opportunities engage in business, tech, and personal ventures within our sovereign framework. Ready to join the revolution? Secure your place in the New Earth Tennessee Micronation today. Visit newearthgoldenticket.com to purchase your golden ticket and become part of a movement that's reshaping the future.
It occurred to me that the whole world is beginning to turn its back on the United States, and the whole world is beginning this predictive program, of enmatizing the United States of America, because Middle America is the human genome, because you represent the epicenter of the human experiment, the human genome, which is to say the galactic genome. So you take down Middle America, the good people of Middle America, and it's a fait accompli. You've succeeded. The devil succeeds. I saw all of this earlier this year in a succession of quasi-prophetic events that were unfolding around me. And I was possessed again in the way I was 25 years ago. And what I arrived at in my own mind was that I was going to stick a flag in Middle America, and we're going to plant the New Earth Micronation in the heartland of America. And we're going to do it now. And we're not going to waste any time. We don't need to waste any time. Now is the time. This is the time. Well, friends, welcome. I think if my computer is not lying to me, it's Saturday, the 29th of June, so it says. I've been on multiple time zones in the last 72 hours, so you'll excuse me if I look a little bit whacked. And I put a good pink light on to lift the spirits in this room. I'm in West Country in England, in Cornwall. Arrived in England a little over 24 hours ago from the Mediterranean. Prior to that, 24 hours before that, I was in Africa. And you'll know a little bit later on in this broadcast why I was in Africa and what I was experiencing, what I was witnessing, which I can safely say blew my mind. This is the Golden Ticket Summit event at the front end of the Lazarus Symposium. Thank you to so many of you out there who've been incredibly patient over the last few months, as myself and the team tried to line up the guns, so to speak, on this pioneering, and I very much suspect historic initiative. You'll see for yourself. The Golden Ticket is a little Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. I will grant you that, but I deemed it necessary, or we deemed it necessary, to create a little flair and a little fun around the business of establishing what we reckon will become the world's first full-fledged, full-spectrum, auto-determining micronation. And by the end of this summit event, I think you'll understand why we can make a grandiose claim like that. It is complex. It's to do with jurisdictions. It's to do with understanding legality and understanding lawfulness. More than that, it's understanding your own standing in this world. You and I, sons and daughters of God, living men and women of the living soil. Why you and I elected to compose ourselves in this hologram. Why you and I elected to steer the plasma of our souls into this insane vector of time-space. It was not to take the fucking knee. Excuse my French. It was not to pay tithes to the Roman Catholic Church. It was not to pay coin or render anything unto Caesar, simply because Caesar says it belongs to Caesar. This is the age, friends, when you and I and our kin, our communities reclaim the living soil, reclaim relationship with the living soil, which is to say the paramagnetic forces of Tara, of Earth, of this Gaia, this extraordinary plane of existence that we live upon. How you and I utilize this sacred temple of the human flesh, the human body, to reconvene relationship with the divine, which is to say relationship with ourselves, which is to say relationship with our conscience and our consciousness in action. To those of you who followed my wheezing over the years, you'll know I take this subject very seriously, and I know that millions and millions and millions of you do too, which is why, by the grace of the eternal God, we're all standing still, looking one to another and exchanging fire in the eyes, because we were born to do this and to be this in the now, the sacred geometry of the living moment. So this is the culmination of a great many years of my own efforts. 10 odd years ago, 11 years ago, 2013, we launched the New Earth Project, which evolved into the New Earth Nation, which went through all sorts of growing pains and all sorts of crash and burn scenarios, shall we say. And here we are. We've built and proven out the metric of the elevation of art, beauty, and consciousness in our petri dish in Bali at the New Earth Haven. We're now in the process of groundbreaking in the New Earth Sanctuary in Mexico. Many of our founding pioneers are amongst the team here. It's something which is underway. It's beautiful. It's profound. However, I will say this. Since we began the process of the New Earth Sanctuary and began to explore the conversation with people all around the world, and as I personally, as that intro piece says, as I looked to Middle America and started to see how America is becoming enmatized by the world, how the international community is being orchestrated, not entirely, but in the main, by Sabbatean Luciferian forces that operate through academia, operate through the institutions of power and of military and intelligence might. All of this cacophony and orchestration seeks to enmatize America and to turn America into the fall guy. Precisely, it would appear, in order to bring about catastrophic failure of humanity, because if America fails, humanity fails. I will also make a distinction here at the beginning of this summit. To those of you who are conscious enough to understand what I'm saying, you won't even need to hear me say it. To those of you who are not conscious enough, lean in, pay close attention. Middle America is not Washington, D.C., okay? 90%, 85, 90% by my reckoning of Americans are not the East and West Coast liberal, intellectual, satanic, Luciferic enterprise. And Middle America are not Washington, D.C., or the Pentagon, the CIA, and all the other alphabet agencies which have done a thoroughly decent job of invoking the kingdom of the devil into America in the last 75 years, to be sure, but it goes back longer than that. Here we are, you and I, about to enjoin a new covenant, which is to plant the new earth nation flag in the heartland of Middle America. That is a sacred task, and it is a sacred covenant, because we're about to reclaim the living soil. We can only do it as a body of living men and women of the living soil, as a fellowship of men and women of the land. The age that besets us right now could be described as the onset of the flight from Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. Be sure, the tanking, orchestrated collapse of the US dollar, the emergence of these other primary portals of economic enterprise like BRICS, are part of an orchestration, for good or for ill. I'm not here to judge them. But I will say that the takedown of the US dollar is integral to the collapse of humanity, in much the same way that the hacking into the mRNA DNA of humanity was intended to bring about autodestruct of the angelic humans. Because that is really what we're talking about here. We're talking about the takedown of the angelics. And that's what this hacking into our blood and our genomes has been about. I'm satisfied that millions and millions and millions of you sufficiently know the truth of this. We can speak boldly to the truth of this now. 5 years ago, I was a madman. 10 years ago, I was a madman. 15 years ago, I was a madman. Truthers and disclosure merchants have long been vaunted as madmen. And that's fine. But we also know that those of us who played the joker in the pack, so to speak. And I'm sure a great many of you and your families and your communities have also fulfilled that divine function of being the joker in the pack. We were the ones who were seeing around corners, were we not? With our intuition, with our fifth dimensional psionic intelligence. We were the early bird. Yeah, and we took rocks to the head and to the back of the head, as we still do. But we were right. And we're proving right now. The mainstream is collapsing. The mainstream narrative is collapsing. This, friends, is the onset of the new age. And we have to define what that is. So what we are going to do is to plant a flag in the middle of America. We're going to establish a micronation, and you will understand by the end of the summit how we're going to do it. I'm going to play off now a beautiful introduction, a blessing, if you will, by Hereditary Chief Phil Lane Jr., who we are very, very proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with. I've spent some considerable time with this beautiful soul, along with my friends Anahita and Sky, who are in the green room and will join us shortly. I've got to know the measure of this man. He is regarded commonly as the eagle in the eagle and condor prophecy, which means to say he is the paramount representative in that sense of all of the Native American First Nations in Canada and USA. And that is to say over 740 First Nations are represented under the banner of the eagle. I was with him a few weeks ago at the Palenque Congress, where the eagle and the condor met from the Amazon, and the hummingbird and the quetzal came together. Pay close attention to his words. This man is 1 in a billion, and we are honored and proud to have him offer the blessing at the front end of the summit.
Mitakepi, my very, very beloved members of our human family, I want to extend a very warm and loving handshake to each and every one of you as we celebrate this great day of the New Earth, Tennessee micronations unfolding, a reflection of the sacred prophecies that said a new global civilization would emerge at this time, which it is. And this is one of the signs of many across Mother Earth that this is happening. So in honor of this great, great historic occasion, I'd like to offer a prayer as well as our chief white buffalo calf woman song. This song says this, in which we have to have when we go forward. Friend, kola le chale chua. It says, friend, do it this way. Whatever you do in life, do the best you can. If you get knocked down, get up. If you get knocked down 1,000 times, get up 1,000 times. If you do it that way, the creator of all good things is going to see you. Otun Kashla Wakanta, creator of the universe, most beloved one, all-powerful one. We call upon your holy powers at this time to bless this new earth, Tennessee micronation, and all the relatives who are going to work together in unity and harmony to begin truly manifesting a new earth. We call all the tribes and nations of the east, from where comes the red sunrise, to come together in unity and harmony. In the south, from where comes new life, we call them together in unity and harmony. The west, from where comes thunder, lightning, and rain, we call upon them to come together in unity and harmony. In the north, from where comes the cleansing white snow, we call them to come together in unity and harmony. And we give thanksgiving to Father Sky and Mother Earth, and also the sacredness that Mother Earth reflects in womankind. And may we fully understand the wings of the eagle, the condor, the hummingbird, the quetzal are two. One is man and one is woman. Until both wings of the eagle, the condor, and the hummingbird and the quetzal have equal power and respect, our human family will not rise and fly to its promised sacred destiny. And so now I want to share this sacred song in honor of this time. Again, the words say this: Kola le chele luchuo. Friend, do it this way. Whatever you do in life, you do the best you can. If you get knocked down, get up. If you get knocked down 1,000 times, get up 1,000 times. Then the Creator is going to see you. Then it says, if you do it that way, whatever you ask for, that's exactly the way it's going to be if we sit in the circle in a sacred manner. That's the covenant. We sit together in a sacred circle with responsibility. Then whatever we ask for, that's exactly the way it's going to be, and we have to proceed like that. Kola chele chuo, kola chele chuo, kola chele chuo, kola chele chuo. Hey chanuki, dakuya chinkuye che tukdeo. Ho chokawaji, you all talk take it, hexuyo pahiye. Oh, they chanuki, dakuya chinkuye che tukdeo. So Mitaki, I give you my love. I give you a big hug, for we are one human family. We are all indigenous people of this Mother Earth, and you must awaken to the fact that each of us is born a sovereignty, ancient, imperishable, and everlasting, and treat each other as that, not as our earth suits, not our skin color, not our gender. For the soul has no gender. The soul has no race. The soul has no class. The soul has no ethnicity. The soul is a reflection of the oneness of the Creator. Halimichante washtelo. My names are Shukmanu and Chidupasapa, and I stand fully responsible before the Creator for my words and my actions. Hallelujah, Shante Washte.
I remain fully responsible for my words and for my actions, and I think that essentially becomes the cornerstone to this noble endeavor, where we begin to enjoin fellowship and lay claim to the soil, we claim health sovereignty, look to ourselves, look to our kin, look to our communities to define the world that we want to live in, and no longer look to the third-party intervention. Government has no place in the kingdom of heaven. None whatsoever. None. The Catholic Church is moot. All monotheistic, religious, churchish institutions that have moved away from the mystical roots and traditions of those great faiths have no further business in holding thrall over humanity. I'm going to introduce core members of the Golden Ticket New Earth Tennessee Micronation team, just to start to put some faces and names to this great initiative. Firstly, I want to bring on Reverend Dr. Nancy Ash, my beloved colleague, Chancellor of the New Earth University, which has, I believe, almost 26,000 students registered now. And she's also founding trustee of emeritus of the ITNJ, the International Tribunal for Natural Justice. Nancy, good to see you, girl.
Ah, what a pleasure. What an honor. My dear brother in oneness, Sacha, thank you so much for putting this together as always and in all ways. Yeah, extraordinary.
Always in all ways. I'll go with that. That's become very much our motto.
Yeah,
yeah, indeed. Thank you, darling girl.
Thanks everyone for being here.
Very indeed. And in deference to the eternal mother and the resurrection thereof, I will bring forth my beloved Marcia. Marcia, so happy to have you on the summit today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Very good. Friends, Marcia will come on in a while to walk us through. We joke about this because we're all hiding under her apron. She is the alpha omega in law and in the most esoteric jurisdictions and understandings of law that I'm aware of in this world. And it's been a passion of mine for 20 odd years. So we will all huddle under Marcia's apron a little later in the summit, and she'll walk us through some of the metric of how we apply the highest forms of law to jurisdiction and reclaim this world. Stand by for that. I want to bring on third matron-in-chief, Erica Rose, who's been very much involved for the last couple of years with the genesis of the New Earth Sanctuary project in Mexico, which, as I said, is underway. My blessed sister is out there on the front line in the mud with the development team. But Erica, great to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much, Sasha.
Very good. And Erica will help walk us through some of the developmental areas of focus and also talk about how the sales is going to be functioning around this golden ticket. Next, I need some assurance in my corner, because we are vastly overweighted by the mother in this broadcast. Andrew Rubnow, brother, very happy to welcome you to the summit. Thank you for joining us today.
It's great to be here. I'm excited. It's my first presentation and in live duo with you, so pretty excited to be here.
Very good. So, friends, Andrew is a remarkably accomplished man. He's got an insane biography and CV, which I'm not going to even try to elucidate on in this broadcast, but suffice to say, he's one of the cleverest men I've met, incredibly skilled and schooled and consciously adept. He is absolutely a brother in arms and shoulder to shoulder, and gives me a little of that daddy strength that I also need from time to time. I also want to bring on, where is she? Where is she? Ali, my producer of my Catch Me If You Can tour. You'll all remember Ali. Good to see you, girl. Where are you in the world?
I'm in Miami right now.
Very good. Well, thanks for joining us, Ali, and for hanging out in the green room with us to give us some support. As many of you know who attended the Catch Me If You Can tour, Ali single-handedly really produces my retreats and tours, and it's a hateful job. I would say hateful job, but it's not an easy one. The logistics are just ghastly, and she keeps the smile going, keeps the energy high, and deeply grateful to you, girl. And she's also, I have to say, a student of advanced law forms as well, and will be working closely with Marcia in establishing the Law Sovereignty Academy that will be launching out of the New Earth University, will it not, Reverend Dr. Nancy Ash, later this year? I believe we're launching that 1st of October. That's the plan.
Yes, that is the plan.
And we've done how many semesters, Nancy, on UCC law? We're winding that particular coursework down, but we've had years of very successful coursework there. How many semesters do we manage?
A little bit more than 5 years, a good 10 full semesters with courses being sold out, sadly to say.
Amazing. And the UCC thing, of course, Uniform or Universal Commercial Code, was for some time the piece that I wanted to bring into the New Earth ground floor. And of course, we've evolved, and UCC, Marsha will explain this to us a little later, but UCC is kind of moot as well when you're entering into the true golden age of sovereignty and the reclamation of sovereignty. In any event, we'll get to that a little bit later. Alison Alchemia, also on our team, was one of the, actually she was one of the hosts or hostesses of my tour. I think it was in North Carolina, correct?
Almost Loveland, Colorado, but you did the East Coast as well, so you're forgiven.
Well, Alison, it's a delight to have you on the team. You're a communications maestro, and many millions of people are going to end up having to get used to your beautiful voice and face in the ranks of the New Earth Micronation. Thanks for being on the summit today.
Thank you, Sasha.
Okay, who else have I got here? Beloved Laura Uplinger. Laura, very happy to see you here.
Well, hello, Sasha. Hello, you all. Thank you for this invitation, Sasha. And thank you for holding the fort, the light, the hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. It's very kind of you. I'm going to move into that screen now as we line up. And I would like to bring in, one moment, friends, just getting there. I've got to scroll down. I can't see my Luna here. When she comes in, Christy, just drop her in. So what I'd like to do now is bring in my very special besties. Sorry, Laura, keeping on the screen there. Stand by. I want to bring on Anahita and Sky. Where are you guys? Oops. Can you guys see me? Yes, you can. There we go. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. You need to unmute your microphone. I knew somebody would do that.
Such an honor and privilege to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
It really
Great.
is truly an honor. Yeah, and thank you, Sasha, for all that you're doing. And we're really excited to be a part of bringing health sovereignty to a global audience and really truly God's given right to have access to these treatments, these therapies, and resurrecting the original human angelic template, as you say so eloquently. Thank you.
Right, and that really is what this is about, and that's what this Tennessee micronation bed is. In essence, friends, and pay attention because here's the metric. I'm about to unravel it. It's an open call to action to 1,000 founding mothers and fathers of the micronation. We're seeking you, you're seeking us. We'll all be convening in the land called Tennessee, which in real terms is a Cherokee derivative called Tanasi. So we should get back into referring to it as Tanasi, T-A-N-A-S-I, the Cherokee derivative. But Anahita and Sky, just before we kick off, I just want to underscore the imperative and the importance of what it is that you guys and I have been working for the last few months with hereditary leader Phil Lane Jr., who did a beautiful blessing a few minutes ago. The resurrection of the ancestral blood song has becoming increasingly a vital component of how we convene a new fellowship and how we reconstitute any kind of a nation. The next nation that is constituted in this world must be non-divisive, non-sectarian. It must be the nation of the rainbow warrior or the rainbow warrior nation. Define what that is as you understand it. Sky, I know you are somewhat expert in the ceremonial aspects here. So is Anahita. But please, who or what are the rainbow warriors?
Well, I'd imagine everybody here on this stream here is a part of the Rainbow Nation. This is a ancient prophecy that really is being fulfilled in this moment. The ceremonies that have happened, the ones you're at in Palenque, the lighting of the 8th fire. This is the culmination of all the ceremonies that have been guiding the indigenous people through this dark winter. That they knew would have a sunrise, and they believed that now the 8th fire begins that process of coming together as this rainbow nation to create this new earth paradigm, this 5th world that's been long prophesied, and here we are moving towards that in such an incredible time that we're in. This assault that's been going on towards humanity really is the kind of the darkest before the dawn, and it is an attack on the most sensitive, our most vulnerable, and but we have the solutions to support that, and as you said, to resurrect and to come back into our divine nature and to harmonize and to unify in this time, and that's really the words of Chief Phil guide us in that. Thank you.
Yes, beautifully put. Anahita, do you want to add anything to that?
I mean, yeah, just to say that, ancient texts and prophecies like the Eagle Condor prophecy have foretold this golden age of humanity that we are awakening to. And so that's the moment we're in at this time, which is, we're seeing so much suffering, but we're also moving into this time of awakening in humanity, and so there's lots, and this is that this vision of the new earth, this micronation, is giving us that place to step into this new time in humanity. So it's very exciting.
Indeed, thank you. What I'm going to do now, and let me just check the back room here. I know that we've got Grandmother Ejna in the green room. She's going to be watching the broadcast from there and coming in to do the closing blessing at the end of the broadcast. And beautiful to see your face there. In fact, Grandmother, I just want to bring you in very momentarily, one moment, so at least people can see your beautiful face. Good to see you. How are you?
Mm-hmm.
You'll need to unmute.
Mm-hmm.
I had to find the right unmute button. I pushed the wrong one, but it puts me on screen longer so I can share love with you all.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for being with us today, Ejna. We look forward to the blessing at the end. Thank you so much. Okay, friends, where are we? Let me put myself back up here. You'll have to excuse this toggling. It's very difficult for me because I'm producing from a small laptop computer, and I have all these screens on it, and it's a bit of a fumble job for me. Okay, what I'm going to do, and the way we're going to proceed with this summit, is I'm going to share essentially a PDF document, which is the document that you can go to the website, the newearthgoldenticket.com, and you can download the PDF file. And this explains this noble initiative and what it is we're doing and how pioneering and historic it is. But for the moment, let me just add. There we go. Boom. Can you see that okay? Everyone can see that all right. So essentially, the New Earth Tennessee micronation, obviously, we can't simply wave a magic wand and manifest it. In our dreams, we can do that. And in our envisioning, we can certainly do that. What we need to do is essentially launch a crowdsource campaign, which is what today is all about. And raising the ticket, as you can see, there are 1,000 golden tickets that are going to be made available after today. We've already registered, I believe, close to 300. In the last few weeks, people came forward, heard about what we were doing, and put their interest forward. So we do have a number of people already in the queue. There are only 1,000 golden tickets being made available. There will be 1,000 golden tickets at the price point of 10,000 USD per ticket. So yes, this initial turnkey exercise is absolutely about doing the raise. It's a $10 million raise, which to some is an inordinate amount of money. To others, it's chump change. To us, good humans, it's a necessary playground that we make the acquisition of the land. We've had scouts on the land in Tennessee, and in a moment, I'll explain why we've chosen Tennessee. But there will be 1,000 golden tickets available, 1,000 founding pioneers in that sense, 1,000 families, if you will, tax-free residential status that will be contingent on the full realization of the allodial titling and the clearance of federal liens against the land. All of that will be explained by Marcia who is our law expert. And I can't read the final piece there. Yes, homes. So it's a residential micronation, obviously. We're looking for people to come and purpose their lives. Once you've made an acquisition of a golden ticket, there's a period of 3 years that you have to locate into the nation. Again, I'll get Andrew and Chris and Erica to walk through the logistics on that momentarily, but I will move through this document. The core mission here, as we outline it, is that there is no secret that there's a concerted effort to collapse the US, collapse the United States of America, and of course the collapse of the US dollar is underway. This is the perfect time to come to the rescue in that sense and to send the cavalry in. And who or what is the cavalry? Well, obviously that's you and I. It's moms and pops. It's conscious parents, grandparents. It is young people seized with consciousness and the desire to put consciousness into action. So this is a micronation for every man in that sense. Now, Marsha will explain the lawful and legal standing and how that works. But to those of you who know, you will understand that sovereign jurisdiction is where and how you declare it under the universal sky, standing directly beneath central sun, as each of us are born sons and daughters of God. That was well known to the man from Nazareth, the Master Yeshua. That was well known to Prince Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. That was also well known to the Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, in his part of the world at his time. All of us can lay claim to that jurisdiction of pure sovereignty and wave out of our way the kingdom of the devil. And point of fact, we're required to do that now. It's exactly what we are required to do now. How do you establish a micronation that is fully sovereign? Okay, so this now becomes a very important piece, and I'll speak to it momentarily. A 0-point economic base and a 0-point social ecological base is integral to manifesting a micronation that is fully sovereign. Why do I say that? Because you could pretend it's sovereignty, but if you have an umbilical cord connecting you to the kingdom of the devil, which is an electrical utility line, for instance, or any benefits and services, amenities on offer by the parent corporation, by the government, so to speak, if you are tethered to the government through that umbilical, and your food production, your agriculture, your sanitation, your electricity, your heating and your lighting, if those are contingent and dependent on that umbilical cord to the kingdom of the devil, then you are not sovereign and you are not free. You are indentured. Okay? So 0-point technology becomes integral here. Breakthrough, vanguard, quantum solutions become integral here. And we will be speaking to that in this broadcast. I've got my beloved friend and partner, Bruno Mihalescu, here with me. I'm going to bring him in right now to say hello. Bruno, can you see me and hear me okay, brother? And you'll need to unmute your microphone.
Thank you very much. It's a blessing to be here with you, Sasha, and the team and the world. It's a great mission, what we are putting together for humanity, and I'm so blessed to serve.
Thank you, Bruno. Brother, I was with you a couple of weeks ago. I was with you in the laboratory, so to speak, with our chief engineer. We are building now prototypes. We are able to power up very significant electric output. Do you want to speak a little bit to what it is we're doing without giving too much away? Now, don't look shifty. Just tell us what you can.
It's just a generator. It's a normal generator, electric, and it's made by the New Earth, and it's working. So the details will come and will help people to have a free energy device. That's
very
fine.
good. Okay, that's it. Don't say anything more because you get yourself into trouble. Now, I will get myself into trouble here happily because I don't give a proverbial fuck. To those of you who know my backstory, 12 years ago, I was Director General in the United Nations intergovernmental sector. Okay, not the same thing as being in the UN, people, but I was the Director General for the renewable energy sector and dealing with breakthrough innovation. And at that time, Dr. David Martin and I were doing our best, working together with the Exemplar Zero Initiative to break the icebreaker, to bring quantum solutions into the playground. We didn't succeed. We nearly did. It's a story which we're going to tell later this year. I asked David recently if he'd be prepared to speak in public now about what we did 12, 13 years ago, 2009, 10, whenever that was. I know a lot about this game. I know why we've not been able to power up communities with free energy technology and 0 point. We've had these technologies for generations. That's the least of the issues. I've witnessed so many of them. I've tried on a couple of occasions with the New Earth to bring them forward, and we've been shut down. Things have happened which I've not spoken about in the public, in the main. I am feeling fiercely confident that this is the right time. I happen to know that it is the right time. I'm sufficiently notified by good people within the military intelligence basement, shall we say, that this is the appropriate time. We've been developing for the last couple of years our own technology solutions in Eastern Europe. And we've got them working now to bring them into the market, to plug them into our micronation, which becomes the first of many micronations as we franchise or syndicate these micronations around the world, certainly after Tennessee, through the United States, all states, and then to the world at large. This is going to take a while. It's going to be a process. But we can and will implement those technologies. Why? Because we don't need to be seeking or soliciting permission from the parent corporation once we've established the legal and lawful jurisdiction, sovereign jurisdiction. That's why the law piece comes first and then the technology comes in. But we can do it, and we will be flashing the kimono in the next few weeks on the technologies and allowing the cat out of the bag somewhat. So please stand by for that. Just to say that you cannot have a micronation standing in full auto-determination and sovereignty if you do not have free energy technology, and we have at least two that are yielding. And I know that there are many engineers out there in the world, and some more cynical watching this broadcast, no doubt, throwing rocks at the screen going, oh, please, we did that. Yeah, there are many technologies out there. Friends, come out of your closets. Come out of your closets into broad daylight and start to proclaim and start to dispense what you've got to the world. How do I get back to my, there we go, back to this. So the 0 point economy will be sustained and derive off the proprietary technologies which we already have in-house. Now, we're not going head-to-head with any governments or any so-called authorities. We will do this lawfully and legally. And as Marsha reminds me and us at every turn, everything we do is an act of peace, must be an act of peace and not an act of war. Huge distinction that. No one here seeks to go head-to-head with Satan. Satan would definitely come off worse. We know that as angelics. But the point is, we don't need the flux. We don't need the pressure. And we can do things as an act of peace, and most assuredly, we will. So jurisdiction is coupled to 0 point economy, which allows for a prosperity economy to emerge, which is how we get to carry out things like vertical greenhousing and grow all sorts of exotic things in our micronations without having to import goods from anywhere in the world, no matter how exotic they are. So why Tennessee? I'm going to invite Luna in. Luna, open your mic and just, you've been on the ground. Is she with us? Yes, she is. Add to stage. There we go. Luna, why have we chosen Tennessee?
Why have we chosen Tennessee? Tennessee is probably one of the most long-standing geographical locations that pretty much every DNA molecule has touched in the last billions of years. And it is probably one of the most magical places on this planet you can imagine.
Good. And we're going to be fully disclosing that in the documents that people can download and in the various summits we're going to be having with Golden Ticket members. I'm going to bring Andrew on momentarily. Let me just toggle out of here. Because Andrew, you have to be somewhere today for a good reason. And what is that good reason?
I do. It's my daughter's graduation party. So I have a house full of guests right now. So I have my own fundraising going on right now for her college.
Beautiful. So, Andrew, Eric and I can pretty much take it off the document, but let's just, Erica, can you hear me okay? I'm going to bring you and friends, I'm going to drop everyone else out momentarily. I'm just going to keep Andrew in and Erica in because it's getting too confusing for me. Just stay in the green room if you don't mind, everyone. There we go. So,
oh, did we lose Sasha? Oh, no.
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead and, as he's getting back on, run through some of the points, Andrew.
Well, with this nation, there's a lot of opportunity. Oh, there it is.
Sorry, guys. I don't know if that's a hacking job or not, but it's happened throughout the day. My screen just goes black. Anyway, carry on, Andrew.
All right. So there's a lot of opportunity with the Golden Ticket and the micronation. So with that, and what we're trying to do and accomplish with the 0 Point economy is offer different aspects and ways of life where you can live freely, potentially tax-free, and run your own business to the outside world as well. So there's a lot of different aspects and benefits to being part of being a member of the New Earth Nation.
So we'll go into all of these details, and Eric and I can pick up the thread here. Just suffice to say, friends, that we can suffice to say that whoever you are, as you cross the threshold into this noble enterprise, if you become a Golden Ticket holder, you are first in line, depending on how quickly you come in and in order of priority. And we will be meeting with you individually, one at a time, with our various teams, and we'll be working out what the fit is for you, what your enterprise is, what business you're interested in, what part of the greater enterprise of the New Earth micronations you wish to participate in, right, where your skills, where your resources, where your business, where your enterprise can fit. We're going to be tailoring this. So this is where we approach the thing called the 0 Point social ecology. The social ecology is where we have our own human resources index. We know in our own micronation who's who, how many biodentists we've got, or horticulturalists, or people who dig ditches and prune roses and magnolias. It doesn't matter. Whatever your passion is, your dream, your bliss, if you're part of that community, there will be a fit. We'll make that fit. Some people want to make money and enjoy the business of that kind of prosperity. We will be building an eco-industrial park as one of the first things we do in the New Earth micronation in Tennessee, precisely in order to facilitate industry. Our engineering is going to be making our own light bulbs that last 1,000 years, making our own electronic circuit boards, making our own computers. making our own telephony, and go further, anti-gravitational devices. Why not? We know how to do it. We have the scientists in the New Earth University Fellowship who absolutely know how to lean in to these exotic vanguard applications. We should not be waiting on Tesla, Elon Musk, controlled opposition or not, hard to say, but we don't need to be taking a nod from General Electric or from Tesla, both sides of the same coin in that sense. In our micronation, with our own jurisdiction, we go ahead and we create and manifest. Andrew, you're an inventor. You hold many patents. You're an electrochemist. You've done extraordinary things. You know how exciting this prospect is for a creative inventor.
Nobody has had a platform like this ever. I mean, we all know that technologies have been suppressed over the years, over the last 100 years. They've been deep-sixed for various reasons, for people's profit and things of that nature. This gives really a platform for individuals to really develop, really engineer, invent, and bring these technologies to light and offer them to our community, but also to the world.
Beautiful. Thank you. So friends, when you do download the document, you will see the membership benefits. It's laid out pretty concisely. You'll also see some of our team outlined here and the contact points. It's a dynamic PDF. So you just hit the URLs or hit the sales at or the contact at, and that'll take you straight to the emails. A bit of biographical background on the core management team, just so you can turn us upside down and shake us down a little bit. Let me just say, Andrew, if you need to go now, brother, not a problem. I don't want to be holding up your daughter's celebrations.
Much love. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you, brother. Okay. Help me out, Christy. Thank you. Okay, Erica, it's you and me, girl. Just the two of us. Let's go through this just to speak about the some of the amenities that we'll be building out. Dairy and cheese factory, why not? Why not? Wholesome, fulsome, organic produce. Biodiversity integral. We appreciate the vital importance of syntropic agroforestry and biodiversity. So we're designing sanctuaries within sanctuaries. We're designing an integrated, let me get me over there. Sorry, do that to you. Okay, we're designing sanctuaries within sanctuaries here, friends. So the way we design the master plan is that we have butterfly and insect sanctuary, and it kind of couples with a bird sanctuary, intersecting in a certain part. So it's almost a circle intersecting a bigger circle. And then there's a bigger circle beyond that, which will be the wildlife preserve. So you've got insects, birds, and then mammals and marsupials all kind of intersecting to create this dynamic biodiversity. It's an amazing concept, and we'll unveil that master plan probably within 6 weeks thereabout, and that'll be revealed to our Golden Ticket members. So once you have bought in and you are a founding pioneer, you are going to be invited to participate in our summits, which will probably be bi-monthly, every fortnight, and meeting different members of the team. It'll be open season Q&A. I know it'll be 1,000 people. We'll expect to have at least a third of them on at any given time. We can do that kind of thing. We've done it multiple times with the New Earth University. Honey farm, beekeeping, integral, obviously, to this in New Earth, Tennessee. Honey is going to be a mainstay of how we set in motion that biodiversity and syntropic agroforestry. Desperately important science, this. I won't go into it here, but syntropic agriculture, vital. Vertical greenhousing, this is where it gets exciting. Hitherto, it has been impossible to really make vertical greenhousing a success. And why is that? It's because it's cost prohibitive. To run greenhousing, vertical greenhousing is very, very heavy on energy, electrical consumption, or whatever your power source is. Now that we have our own energy technologies, that once they're inserted and installed into our 0-point microgrid, we will be powering up our vertical greenhouses on close to 0 point. And that means that we can grow Madagascan apricots in Tennessee. We will never need to import any bullshit from around the world, no matter how exotic or luxurious it is. We've got to get on with fabricating, with engineering, designing, and making, manifesting ourselves. So that's how we take this forward. Erica, do you want to comment to anything I've said thus far?
Actually, yeah. The magic of this is, Sasha's, we've been working for quite some time in Bacalar, Mexico, in Quintana Roo, and a lot of these ideas and concepts that we've been talking about and that Sasha's sharing here, we are on the verge of implementing now there. So it's very exciting to see this rolling out. It's very exciting. We have these beautiful concepts and technologies, but we're actually going to be able to test them and try them and implement them and adjust, in real life for people to come and see and visit and experience while we're doing the same in Tennessee. So it's very exciting.
Beautiful. I'll carry on through this. Boom, boom, boom. So vertical greenhousing, integral to the prosperity model, and where you don't diminish the quality of an indulgent and even luxurious lifestyle. Quite the contrary. Quite the contrary. As we've been proving out with the New Earth haven in Indonesia, in Bali, over the last few years, the elevation of art, beauty, and consciousness is a cornerstone to how human beings want to step into a new Earth horizon. Nobody wants to start wiping your shit with an oak leaf. And to be crass about it, we don't want to go backwards in that sense. We don't want to forfeit the luxury of an ergonomic modern society, so to speak. So once you remove the Catholic Church, which is to say the priest banker, which is to say the profiteers and racketeers from the mix, all of a sudden you have a prosperity economy. And that's precisely how we do it and how we intend to manifest this moving forward at exponential speed, incidentally, friends. I'm not talking about something that's going to take years to implement. New Earth bioarchitecture, again, for those of you who know anything about our work, you know that we've led the world in many regards in this, and we're proving that out now on the ground in Mexico. We've done a great deal of that work in Bali, in Indonesia, and Tennessee will be the spectacular template for the world as a micronation, employing bioarchitecture and bioresonance at the heart of our initiative. That's just a snapshot of our New Earth haven in Bali, or part of it. Very beautiful bioresonant bioarchitecture. And we'll be exploring in Tennessee in ways that you cannot imagine. Because by the grace of God, we can now do 3D printing using geopolymers. And yes, we have already got, I believe, the greatest geopolymer expert pretty much in the world that I'm aware of, who's now formally heading our team up in Mexico. And he is a famous shaman. He was with Dr. Alex Ling and myself in the Zone of Silence. To those of you who are watching that film, that was the first time I'd really met with him. Erica brought him in, introduced him to the team. He's a very famous shaman in Mexico, but his specialty, and he's an architect and master planner, that was his old life, and a very, very successful one. But his critical focus has been geopolymer, creating the perfect cementitious mixtures that are bioresonant and georesonant. And he's done that. And we can create the most exquisite applications now of the built environment using bioresonant concrete, which is healthy for you and charges your plasma as opposed to poisons you and the soil. So that's a very, very important piece. That was Eco-Industrial Park. Again, one of the first turnkey things we will be doing in the Tennessee micronation to facilitate those of you who are in business and that kind of commerce and need to manufacture or engineer, fabricate. We will be absolutely welcoming that kind of industry. New Earth Tennessee will facilitate our first AGN radio and TV station. And not just for Arise, but also for the New Earth, University. Let me bring Nancy in, if she's there. There she is. Nancy, using the broadcasting hub that we'll build in Tennessee to broadcast coursework from the New Earth University. I mean, very important for us, given that we've got such a big student body of almost 26,000 registered students around the world. We need to broadcast to them, and we'll be growing that student base exponentially, as well as the faculty directors of our faculty, one of whom is Laura Uplinger. Sorry to do this to you, Laura. Just have to bring you back in here. Laura, I haven't had a chance to explain much of the Tennessee Micronation. You're an esteemed member of the New Earth University faculty. You are world-renowned for the extraordinary work that you've done with typhonic consciousness of the unborn child, perinatal, and lecturing and traveling the world over the years. You were married to my favorite human being on the planet, Hal Uplinger. I say after my mum, I have to say that. Hal Uplinger, who you were blessed to be married to for years, and you have Sarah, your daughter, with Hal. Hal is no longer with us, but is brushing the golden streets ahead of us. Now, what is your sense of what we're speaking about here with the New Earth Tennessee Micronation? And what a beautiful opportunity, Laura, for us to bring all of the sacred knowledge that you bring to the university, to bring it into the heartland of America at this critical time. What say you?
Sasha, it's a gorgeous idea. And I don't know exactly how you chose that specific place that is so harmonious, so beautiful. I remember that movie Little Tree, something that fascinated me years and years ago. There's this connectedness with the heart, not only of a nation, but the earth. You were talking about the Divine Mother, the Shekinah. Yes, especially for the New Earth University on birth and dying. Oh my goodness, that consciousness surrounded by the language of nature. When we want to decipher the language of life, we look at nature. And Tennessee, fabulous. Then a micronation. This is so much like you, Sasha. I love the idea. Just my solar plexus says, yes, we're together in this.
Wonderful. And you know, I dream of Hal Uplinger. To those of you who don't know, 20 years ago, Hal Uplinger was Alpha Omega. 25 years ago, 30 years ago in international broadcasting. He was the great pioneer who was the international producer, executive producer of Live Aid, Net Aid, Sport Aid, Farm Aid, all of those amazing broadcasts. So Hal's vision was to bring the world's eyeballs together. And when I was young and just started out Humanitad, and I heard about Hal Uplinger, he was up there. He was just this legendary figure. And then one day my phone rang. And it was a man saying, it's Hal Uplinger. I've heard about you. And I said, fuck out. It's not possible. It can't be you. And it was. And he said, I want to see you. I want to talk to you. And we met and fell in love. And he was married to Laura. And he moved.
You were a gift, Sasha. You were a gift from Bernard Lietard. So the only this gorgeousness, Bernard said, you must meet Sasha. He said that to me and, of course, to Hal. So
that was Bernard Lietard. He was the... Yeah. He was probably the greatest economist alive. He's been gone for a few years, but Professor Bernard Lietard was the genius economist, friends, who created the convergence mechanism that was the euro. Now, before you shriek, he was set up by Brussels to create the convergence mechanism, which became known as the euro. But he told Brussels at the beginning when he was commissioned, you cannot have a unified currency as a permanent currency. We can create a convergence mechanism, and then it'll last for 15, 17 years, and then it'll implode. So we have to only announce the euro as an interim currency, and then we have to develop a greater currency for the European community. And they said, yes, yes, Dr. Lietard, please go ahead. He finished designing the convergence mechanism, and he was horrified on the day when Brussels announced the euro as a permanent currency. He resigned from the commission that day pretty much, and started lobbying against his own life's creation from that point on. What a legend, what a hero, because he realized that the satanic globalists had set him up, as they've done with many good economists and good academics, to do their dirty work, and then they pull the carpet at the appropriate time. God knows they did it to me with the United Nations. So that was the man, you're telling me, Laura, Professor Bernard Lieta, who I love very much, who made the introduction with you and Hal. Thank you for that. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's a joy to have had you in the life of Hal. That was fantastic. That synergy between the two of you, even going to the UN, but plotting and thinking and plotting some more, understanding how the earth deserves a different route from now on. We have achieved that maturity, that spiritual maturity. When I say we, I include the trees and the rivers, the skies, the plants, the animals, humanity. We have achieved a new level of maturity, and we're ready to step forward. And all the other agendas, sorry, they won't work.
Sayonara, baby. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Much appreciate those words of yours. Thank you. Okie dokie. Let's just quickly continue here with this. So, radio and TV station. I think Dr. Nancy Ash is delighted that we'll be broadcasting coursework from the New Earth University. Of course, we will be building a New Earth University campus. We're doing one in Mexico on Laguna Bacalar, and we're twinning it with Tennessee. And so student bodies will be able to bounce between the two locations. We'll also be broadcasting Lazarus and what have you from the studio in Tennessee when I'm domiciled there, or when I'm based out there. This is a essential piece. We're going to get to a chat with Sky and Anahita in a moment, who are co-founders of the New Earth Regenesis Clinic, Spa and Retreat Center that we're building in Tennessee as the exemplar. I'll bring them on in a short while. So I'm not going to dwell on that here right now. This is just to run through the amenities. Reversus. I will explain what this is momentarily, friends. Once you understand what I'm going to talk about here, I will show you a short film I just made last week in South Africa with the chief scientist and the team behind that group. Your lives will never be the same again once that technology hits the streets, which is going to do late this year into next year. And we at the New Earth are going to be integrally involved as the delivery mechanism for that extraordinary technology suite. So stand by there. Sorry to sound enigmatic, but I've got to get through a lot of stuff here. As I mentioned earlier, ceremonial ground. This will be the very first thing we break ground on in Tennessee, will be the divinations. Hereditary leader, Chief Phil Lane Jr., and other First Nation elders and leaders and wisdom keepers will be joining us. We anticipate in the first day of spring of next year. That's the plan right now, and you can put that in your diary. First day of spring, or it'll be the spring equinox. So it'll either be the 21st, 22nd of March of 25, or it'll be the first, I think that is the first day of spring technically. But that is what we're designating right now as the proclamation of the New Earth micronation in Tennessee. That's the intention. And the divinations will have been done on the land, and the consecration will occur on that day. And we have cultural and religious and spiritual leaders and elders who are coming in to stand shoulder to shoulder with us on that day. And some of the indigenous elders who are coming in to do the consecration of the New Earth, because they understand that this is the genesis point of the Rainbow Nation. That once we pierce the corporate veil with 1 square inch of soil, sacred soil in the Americas, once that corporate veil is pierced, that is the onset of the resurrection of the angelic human. It's the return of the living sons and daughters of God, the living men and women of the living soil, to the living soil. And everything changes at that point. The wisdom keepers, the elders, and the hereditary chiefs understand what we're doing. We continue a great deal of work with them. Every week I'm on World Hereditary Council meetings with elders and First Nation paramount chiefs, kings and queens, and so on from the First Nations around the world. And the World Hereditary Council will be finding its home base in Tennessee, in the middle of America. Because the rainbow tribe is by distinction the black skin, brown skin, red skin, yellow skin, and white skin peoples of the world, all reconvening under a covenant of fellowship of man. So watch this space. The ceremonial ground will be the very first thing we consecrate when the proclamation is made early next year. The circle of life. These are, to me, the most important element that we're building in Mexico, and also we'll be building in Tennessee, which is a small havens in the heart of these micronations, which engender the conscious birthing and the conscious dying. For those who choose to die and move on across the Great Divide, you're welcome to do so. It should be an ecstatic, certainly a painless exercise. It should be filled with beauty. The trial of separation should not be a matter of sorrow and sadness. It should be a matter of rejoicing. The invocation of grace. It's the great moment of becoming. Having said that, I will say something here, which again will have rocks thrown at my head, that we are now the generation of revelation, of the resurrection of the angelic. We do not need to die in this age, in this generation. That is now scientifically a thing of the past. You don't know that in your neighborhood. You don't know that right now with the Facebook and Instagram feed that hits you through predictive programs conducted by artificial intelligence, data mining algorithms. You're not going to know anything real about where we are in medical science and health science. I do know a great deal about this, and I will happily state here that this is the last generation. We can choose to augment life and protract it almost limitlessly, but I'll speak to that a little bit later once I have Sky and Anahita on, and I will also be playing a short clip to underscore what I'm talking about here. Boom, boom, boom. Forgive me. Back to this. Conscious birthing and dying havens will be built within the heart of these micronations, starting in Tennessee, for those people who are choosing to be, those souls choosing to be born to this world and those choosing to exit this world. And just some beautiful images by Giselle Coy. We have a architectural design team that we're putting together that will build the most exquisite places you can imagine. Livestock and seed banking will be an integral turnkey part of the Tennessee project. This is, friends, a return to the living soil. And that is our disclaimer, which is important because we're still operating somewhat in the kingdom of the devil, and powers that be or powers that were certainly do not wish for us to succeed. Not that we should pay too much attention to those voices or those hearts. They are frankly moot as far as I'm concerned. So you can go to newearthgoldenticket.com and you can register your interest there. Erica, what is the process? Nancy, I'm going to drop you in the back momentarily. Erica, what is the process for people wanting to acquire one of the 1,000 golden tickets to the New Earth Micronation in Tennessee?
So yeah, if you guys would please go to the website, you'll see that we do have a couple different options there, but essentially you can find a button that says click here to buy your golden ticket. You'll have to fill out a form with your full legal name, please, because when we start the conversation with Marsha a little bit later, discussing the Private Members Association structure, we do need to connect that with your full legal name. So please fill that form out. It will then take you to a PayPal page where you can pay by credit card if you like for the $10,000 ticket. And then You'll get a receipt provided by PayPal, and then we actually have a membership agreement that we'll be following up with you for signature to become part of the Private Members Association. So we also, in addition to taking credit card payments, we can take Bitcoin transactions. We can, you know, I know Sasha's about to do a tour across the United States.
No, United Kingdom, dear. Don't insult the English.
No, like later this year.
September, the Golden Ticket Tour. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's other options. I know people enjoy just taking some cash from underneath their beds or in their closets and stuff like that. So we have a dedicated team here that can answer those types of questions for you as you move along.
Very good. And just very briefly here, there's 2 levels of membership. One is coming in at the $10,000 mark to acquire, to build, to purchase your membership into the micronation. What does that tier 1? What is that $10,000 acquisition? What are the benefits? What do you get?
Well, we wanted to provide a huge amount of value for people coming into this nation, as well as have everyone on the same page as far as the ultimate goal of entering this micronation, which is sovereignty, independence, and creating community together. So as part of the $10,000 membership, Marcia will explain a little bit later, Sasha and the team here have built a beautiful course called the Sovereign Academy that will help each one of us remove, sever the bonds from the regular, birth certificate, corrupt system that we're all a part of at this point. But there's several member benefits in the $10,000 membership, but all of it takes into account things inside of the community. So priority access to the Regenesis technology and clinics.
Speak about the critical thing here, because the critical thing is people making an acquisition of a golden ticket, which can move toward their plot, their home in the community. So speak about that connection, because that's the essential piece here. Friends, I have to say, we've got to be very, very careful what we say here on a public broadcast. We find ourselves in violation of these bullshit SEC regulations, which are there to protect the banks, not to protect you and I, incidentally. But we have to be somewhat cautious there, that we don't have ourselves closed down by the draconian overreach of these deviant entities. So we have to couch our language in the public in a certain way. Once you purchase or acquired your membership to the golden ticket, number one, you're in the queue, you're in an order priority. That moves toward the acquisition of your land and your home in the community. Okay. And it also has a whole bunch of other benefits, like this entry to the Sovereignty Academy, coursework, Lazarus, ongoing. There's a whole bunch of other things. The secondary tier, second tier of membership is connected to us dialing you in to the enterprises and the commercial opportunities that are available within the ambit of New Earth. And that is connected to the energy technologies, that's connected to the medical science technologies and breakthroughs there, which you'll learn more about shortly. So just riff on that for a moment, Erica.
Sure, yeah.
Membership.
We want to provide 2 things. So for people that are members of the association who are going to live, work, and play inside the community, we want to have you have every opportunity to create inside that community into the sort of inward looking economic situation. So juice bars, cafe, those types of things that support the inward looking community, but also to be able to facilitate the outward community as well. So outside of the nation state, everyone wants to be able to travel and move around the world to experience whatever level of success that you choose. So as a second level of membership, we want to be able to structure unique partnerships that not only work inside the community, but can be possibly in other locations, like Sasha mentioned, that we're expanding across the United States, North America, and eventually globally. So there are many opportunities, considering the technology, considering manufacturing, that we want to encourage partnership on. And we need those people to come forward and seriously say, I want to be a member at this level. Here's our direction, and let's have a conversation about how to structure that together.
Beautiful, thanks. I want to just bring in Shelley, because Shelley just came in the green room. Hi, good to see you, Shelley.
Hello.
Good to see you, girl. Thank you for joining us today. Luna, bringing you back in here as well. And I'm going to bring Laura in, and I'm going to bring Alison in. Who else have I not included here? Sky and Anahita, stand by, and we're going to have our conversation. Marsha, stand by. We've got a segment with Marsha and a segment with Sky and Anahita coming up. Dr. Nancy Ash, I'm going to bring you in as well. And Christy, just to balance us out, I'm going to bring Christy in as well. So, friends, he says, turn to the audience. This is some of the team. I'm mindful of the time. It's 22 minutes past 8, which means I've got not much longer to compress 2 very important segments in here. One devoted to the law aspect and the sovereignty aspect, and another one committed to the reclamation of health sovereignty and the dispensation of treatments, and dare I say it, even cures, to cure every ailment known to man, because that's the business that we're in. And we intend to be very robust and dynamic about that, because I, for one, was not born to cower from a febrile technocrat called Anthony Fauci, or a deviant Dr. Strangelove called Bill Gates. Whoever concocted these archetypes, whoever concocted these creatures, it's of no consequence. We jointly, collectively conjured them into the field, did we not? The they is always the unresolved aspects of you and me. Once we own that piece, we can dispel the witchery. And that's what this noble team are going to be involved in the enterprise thereof. So, guys, I just want to say thank you all. Erica, thank you. I'm going to step away from the membership piece now, because we've got to focus on the other 2 segments. Nancy, we're going to not discuss the New Earth University beyond this point. So just to thank Luna, you're on the ground there. You're heading up our Land Scout team. We've got some unbelievably exciting land holdings that we're looking at. I'm going to suggest that the next summit that we do, which will be for the members coming into the Golden Ticket, Luna and Shelley, I think we should unveil what you guys are witnessing on the ground there, because you're both leading the vanguard on the ground in Tennessee. So I'll invite you guys to the next summit to help host that, and we can show our Golden Ticket members exactly what we're looking at, because the minute we make the threshold of the financial requirement, that money drops straight down into the land, and those Golden Tickets are now backed by the land. And then we start to have more fun and dial the fun up. But that's how we're doing this. Shelley Miles, thank you. Luna, thank you for joining me today. Erica, thank you, darling girl, for all the hard work. Laura Uplinger, love you. And we're going to catch up on a private call imminently. Alison, speak to you very soon. Nancy Ash, see you on a trustee meeting of the ITNJ imminently. All right, friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one by one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You're the last one standing. God, I wish you.
Well, Sasha, where'd you go?
The floor is yours, Alison.
Oh my God. Well, hi. This is so amazing. I was just thinking to myself, I wish, I mean, the timing is perfect, but if there was ever an investment opportunity of a lifetime, oh my God. Hi, Sasha.
Hi. Sorry, guys, fell off again. I'm glad to hear you riffing in my absence. Do go on. You have
I was just sharing
the Golden Ticket.
I mean, what an opportunity. Okay. We're talking, I mean, I know that we're public, so I'm not going to get as into it as we could, but we're talking opportunities that are generations. We're impacting generations, right? As a mother, I'm always thinking of my children, and I know that our people are as well. And that's what we're here to do, is not just think about ourselves and our own livelihood and our own health, but that of the generations that are coming after us. This is bringing the new earth into 3D form, right?
Indeed it is. Thank you for that. Okay, Alison, I'm going to drop you in the green room. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated words. Friends, I'm going to now narrow the focus here. Sky, Anahita, please, your comments on the last hour or so.
Continue. Mind-blowing. Yeah, truly we are at a pivotal moment, and this is the seed of the resurrection of the human family. And yeah, which brings me to tears, actually, to think about this incredible team organized here that you brought together, just thought leaders and amazing just beings that come from their heart, that are in true service to humanity. That's what this mission is all about, and we're just so deeply honored to be among that community, your community.
Thank you, friends. Look, we're going to discuss the health piece. Let me just quickly refer to my notes. So we've looked a little bit at the acquisition of the ticket piece, and then I am required to discuss. Well, I tell you what, we can go into, Christy, help me out here. What is the next piece? I think we should go in with Marsha into the law piece. And then after that, Sky and Anahita will talk about the Regenesis and the reclamation of health. And we'll talk about the medical science piece and the health science and where we're at and why we lay claim to being at the very tip of the spear of the transformation of humanity back into the angelic, so to speak. And again, I've got no problem speaking this kind of flowery language. I've got no problem speaking in terms of the resurrection of the angelic temple, because that's exactly what it is. The problem is we've been cowed. Our language has been cowed, and we need to not be cowed. We are talking about resurrection of the angelic template. We are talking about the return to the immanent, the return of the immortals in our age. That's exactly what we're speaking about. But let me bring you guys back on once I've got through the jurisdictional piece and the law piece with Marsha. Marsha, it's just you and me, and we're going to speak now about jurisdiction. The notes that were sent to me, because I'm somewhat behind in some of this, and let me just share this again, go back to the first page, or the page that actually reflects this. It said here, over here, there we go. Let me just bring that up. That the New Earth Golden Ticket Trust is a 508c/1A FBO, religious nonprofit, tax-exempt organization with mandatory exception from many restrictions connected to IRS and so on, and rules recognized internationally under Hague Convention and the International Tribunal for Natural Justice. So speak a little about that. What is the Golden Ticket Trust, and why do we have to play the trust game when we're reclaiming our jurisdiction and our sovereignty? You'll need to unmute your microphone.
Oh, you want to hear me too?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Well, everything really is a trust. It's a sacred trust that we come and that we bring here. And we, through life and through the superimposition of what you call the witchery, the language. We are actually speaking a language. English is the language of commerce. English is a spell casting language. So we're casting spells. And so over the real relationship that we have with Mother Earth, there have been all of these entanglements. There's been feudal entanglements and security entanglements. And there's this kind of cocoon that has been spun around not only the earth but ourselves. And so what we do is we set aside in a private contractual relationship. In commerce, the contract is the law. So when we have a private contract, we have a private trust that is holding the integrity of our relationship with not only each other, but with the world at large. We have an opportunity to be those divine trustees, those divine stewards that bring this into manifestation. And while we tend to look at things from the corporate perspective, from that what you call the parent corporation, we're really not defined as a 508. We're seen through the Internal Revenue Service in 508 capacity, because as the spiritual expression that we are, the Internal Revenue Service recognizes that church spiritual controlled organizations are immune. They're exempt. They're not exempt. Exempt is a privilege. They're excluded from the perspective. Especially in the United States, we have the First Amendment that says that Congress can make no law concerning an establishment of religion or the free exercise thereof. So when we come in our spiritual capacity, which is what I'm very excited to bring through the Sovereign Academy, a whole level of understanding who we are in that sovereign capacity. How do we look in and bring that sacred capacity? And then what is our relationship and our standing with the world from that sovereign capacity? The first job in Tennessee is to extricate the land from those attachments, from the feudal attachments, from the security attachments, and go back into the place where the real ownership was granted originally, and basically from conquest, from the war powers. I find in the preliminary information in Tennessee, the grants were to the soldiers who they couldn't pay for succeeding in the war. And so we go back to those original grants, and those grants say we're giving full ownership of this land forever. After that, those became very dormant, and all these economic and jurisdictional attachments began to attach over the land. So we extricate that, and you actually can experience a process of extricating those feudal attachments and those economic attachments honorably in such a way that we regain our relationship with ownership. And then after we have cleared that, we go back to the sacred stewardship that Chief Phil and that perspective brings, going back to those dormant agreements for us to maintain our relationship with the land. Go back to the 451 AD, the 6 global treaties that maintain those agreements and bring those and claim those forward. And even before that, our true relationship with Mother Earth, and we a whole process of clearing our path for that.
And are we seeking permission in this along this path? Are we asking permission? Are we seeking permission, or is that a no? There's no part of it that's seeking or asking permission.
There's no part of it that's seeking permission. We'll find it when in the first entree into the sacred honor, and bringing forward our sacred honor and our sacred capacity. Remember, capacity is who we are. It's that spiritual being that is here having a physical experience. And so when we go in through the entree into the sacred, into the academy, into the Sovereignty Academy, we're bringing what I refer to as wisdom's calling, the blessings of liberty, where we begin to look deeply into our capacity, and through that raise through and walk through the treaties that recognize that capacity, so that we're now fully developing that spirit, that soul capacity, and then looking to see what is our standing, what is our relationship with the world when we first established ourselves as that capacity.
Very good. So speak about national passport status within the New Earth micronation, for instance, or identification. And secondly, we'll talk about be the bank, how we claim the banking.
Again, national passport status is a status. It's a relationship. How are we related to the world? In every culture, we have a status and how we're related. We have passports, and in certain ways, we have defined ourselves by our application. We have entered into whatever relationship we're seeing in the standing in our relationship with the world. So how do we modify that relationship with the world so we're seen as those sovereign beings that now are not interfered by because what you understand when you know the way that governments, the way that the public trust is designed, it's designed to contain those people who do not live spiritual lives, who do not live honorable lives, to contain those, so those people who do live spiritual lives are seen and act unencumbered by the defects of the what did you call it, the witchery.
Yes, very good. And
so we break the spell that witchery has over our thinking and our speaking. I mean, when we speak even war and peace, that when we get to in the blessings of liberty, is we begin to see that 0 point neutrality that is the whole the breakthrough of the dichotomy of the divisiveness.
Very good. Be the bank. What does that mean?
You are the bank. You are the gold. All this, we look at gold, we look at the assets, we look at the land, we look at all those things. But I will tell you, nothing in this physical domain happens without your energy. Your energy is the gold. You are the energy behind any economic venture. And so in the outline that I've got for the whole curriculum, it's not just a course into the Sovereign Academy. It is a whole curriculum, not only of discovering, going deeply in yourself, and even looking at your speaking. Are you speaking those war powers that we've been designed? We've been designed through a very careful formula to bring war powers into the world through our speaking, through our thinking, through our divisiveness. And when we realize that and we look deeply, 10 weeks of the blessings of liberty, the biggest part of it is observe yourself in the process. How are you speaking? A lot of people over the years have really admonished me because they say, oh, we're just bantering semantics. But I am not bantering semantics. I am changing the spell that's being cast in the world.
Good. Exactly right. And that's the seminal piece. So law of nations, what is that? Why is it important to have some comprehension of law of nations? And where does it take us? Do we have to treaty with the world at large once we establish ourselves as a fully allodial titled micronation?
We can, and treaties can actually be engaged between locations for the new earth. And what we do is when we understand who we are in that sacred capacity, and we come forward in that sacred capacity, we're protected under the law of nations. Book 4 of the law of nations is all about the protection of public ministers and the right, and even the Army Field Manual 2710 is about the military protecting our free passage through occupied territory. And when we understand that all of us have lived all of our lives, I don't care where you're on the planet. Well, I've seen now some places that haven't been infringed by being occupied territory, but few places on the planet are not living in occupied territory. But when you become that sacred entity that's protected for free passage through occupied territory, you change your standing with the whole world.
Beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Well, I think, Marsha, that's a pretty fine introduction to this piece. I know that the Sovereignty Law Academy that we launch in October this year, that's the plan, 1st of October. I know it's going to be oversubscribed. You're going to play the seminal role in that. You mentioned when we first met about the corporation soul, and that's something that you're going to be speaking to, I believe, in the coursework. Can you, just before we wind this section up, just speak about that? What is a corporation soul?
A corporation soul is a religious organization. It's a structure for expressing yourself in the world in your sacred capacity, and it is based on motivated to bring your soul essence into expression in the world. It's a way of looking at yourself and be seen in the world as a religious expression.
Beautiful. Marsha, thank you very much indeed. And so excited about where we take this. I know that I speak for you, I speak for all of our team, that this is really the intersect and the dovetailing of the fulmination of all of our life's work. I mean, it's all a singularity, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we've just merely touched on the outline that I have, because I've got different classifications. And this is really the self-discovery we've talked about. And then I've talked about self-mastery. Now, how once we've discovered ourselves, how do we master that and take it out into the world? And then how are we competent in this? This is not a collapse. It's a transition.
Yeah,
it is an expression of our souls coming fully into fruition.
Beautiful, beautifully stated. Marsha, thank you so very much, and we'll see you on the next summit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, friends, I'm going to bring on a closing segment here, and we've got just over 15 minutes. Sky and Anahita.
Brother.
So, guys, we've been working together for the last few months, and we've spent a number of weeks together, actually, in Mexico and we went to the Zone of Silence together. Yes. And we spent some time at our Bacalar headquarters in Mexico on the banks of the Laguna there, which you guys are going to be actually moving to. We're establishing the first Regenesis, turnkey Regenesis spark presence is going to be hardwired now into the Bacalar Nua Sanctuary project. But we're also going to be mirroring that in Tennessee. Now, in Tennessee, we're talking about, in a sense, a bigger facility, because we need to create an international training headquarters for the Regenesis Spa Clinic Retreat Center concept, the brand that we're launching. Let me just say to the audience, the reason why I fell in love with these two is because of, one, the Shiva Shakti, Christic and Magdalene energy that they so obviously and palpably and sickeningly manifest. I mean, look at them. They're just too perfect. It's like perfect, that energetic. But in the flesh, it's an enchantment to be in their presence. And I'm given to flowery language at the best of times, but I can tell you that the frequency that these two are conjoined by is so serendipitous and so holy and sacred. And I'm sure it's fractious from time to time. I'm sure you both throw tomatoes at each other, but that's not the point. The point is that you strike this poise. And I'm not surprised that I was hearing long before I met you that you guys had this extraordinary renown in dealing with, I'm going to choose my words carefully, in your clinic in Canada, in dealing with stage 4 turbo cancers. Now, I heard it from third parties that you have a 100% success rate in dealing with stage 4 turbo cancers, and any condition actually, because all cancers, all diseases are the same disease. There is only one disease: incoherence, when we're out of phase with the divine, the immanent template. You guys have such an incredible superdimensional grasp of, and hyperdimensional grasp of, the physics of healing, the physics of treating, healing, and curing. Now, you're not allowed to use those words. The C word is a dirty word. You thought it was cunt. It's not. It's cure, friends. That's the dirty word. You're not allowed to use it, okay? And that's because of your friendly government. And your friendly government only exists because of your taxes. Don't ever forget that. You're manifesting that creature. Sky and Anahita twinned and now gone into partnership, ventureship with me and with the New Earth Project. And we've been working for the last few months on an exquisite brand called Regenesis Spa Clinic Retreat Centers. What are they? Anahita, you go first. What exactly is the critical vision that we're manifesting?
Yeah, so I mean, Regenesis is really about, you know, if we start right at the beginning, you know, Regenesis is about returning to harmony with our truest, most authentic selves. You know, when we look at even the term Genesis, in the Bible, it refers to our divine connection to the sacred. Regenesis means to rebirth. It means renewal. And so Regenesis represents the rise of the phoenix from the ashes. As an analogy, it's the birthing of a new paradigm of health sovereignty, healing, and the resurrection of our original angelic template, as you speak to so eloquently.
So I don't know if I can trigger this PDF file from here. I think I can. So this is just a very, very brief kind of overview, exploring the interconnection between nature, health, and the New Earth movement. Are you guys hearing me okay?
Yep. Yes.
Great. And thank you for putting this beautiful presentation together and dovetailing it into the branding. Again, we're excited because we're going to be building the first big New Earth Regenesis center and facility and training facility, moreover, which will become the international hub and flashpoint. And we're going to be folding into these Regenesis centers the very, very best technologies in the world, which we have access to and which we are variously partnered in. The most advanced microbiology in the world. We will have our sovereign jurisdiction where we will be able to manufacture our own New Earth pharmacy products inside our own jurisdiction. Right now, we're having to navigate around the FDA and all of that nonsense, so we don't do any marketing or publicizing of our spike protein and weaponized E. coli formulas and the other formulas we're now developing, HIV, AIDS, malaria, and so on. But in any event, New Earth Regenesis, the Regenesis Spa Clinic is really center ground of the Tennessee Project because reclamation of our DNA, mRNA, and our health sovereignty is integral to our survival as a species, and moreover, to how we dial into the next great expression in our evolutionary upgrade. Sky, speak a little to that, please.
Yeah, well, you know, as I was saying before, we're really at this time of a rebirth, this global awakening. You know, the ancients call it Pachacuti, this the Kalki Yuga, the Golden Age. You know, we're really this new light is birthing over the horizon, and there's this awakening going on. And there's been this onslaught, this sort of attack on the human, you know, through air, water, and our food and our medicine, to really disconnect us from the sacred, disconnect us from that the sovereign right of health and wellness, and having access to whatever therapies that we should have access to, that you know. And so we now are finding ourselves looking for solutions. Everybody's you know, online knows somebody that's dealing with these deep pathologies, and that's really what happened to us as we started to see and having clients come to us with advanced cancers and you know various different types of advancing ailments that they didn't know what to do with. And so we really put on our thinking cap. We went and researched, and we really found that all pathology is from a lack of flow of the river of light, this energetic pathway, the cellular pathways of the body, the pranic pathways of the body to get that energy up into our prefrontal cortex, into the God brain, and really awaken these cities. You know, these things are keeping us into these sort of lower shadow aspects of humanity, but we really have access through this process to the cities, to our truest, most awakened selves. And so this process is really we call it the Regenesis process, and it's really about an awakening. It's about giving people a very clear step-by-step process, integrating these ancient practices with these cutting-edge technologies to revolutionize and really simplify what this process really is.
So by ancient traditional modalities, you're talking about earth medicines, what have you, ceremonial work. Speak about that piece a little bit more, and about how you don't just use state-of-the-art military-grade technology. And I'm going to go into that in a moment. It's why I was just in South Africa. I just got off a plane, 24 hours ago, and I'm going to show a sneak peek of what I experienced there. And if anyone disbelieves in medbeds, they exist. And by the grace of God, I was taken to this facility. I've witnessed some of the technology that we are now partnering with to bring into the Regenesis clinic and into the New Earth Micronation in Texas, and to help syndicate and franchise this technology this technology revolution to the world. But coupling breakthrough military-grade, state-of-the-art hardware technology, frequency, light, sound technologies with best-in-class microbiology, best-in-class nutritional food supplementary modalities. Also, you guys have a central column, or one of the three legs of the stool for you guys is the ceremonial work and dealing with ancestral trauma, so to speak. Just riff on that for a moment.
Good.
Yeah. So, I mean, we both have quite a strong connection to many, medicine lineages, including the Quiero. And, in those teachings, the traditional people of the Andes Mountains, they talk about how dis-ease has its roots in the subtle imprints in the energetic field of the body. And so, of course, having that understanding of health and healing, we know that we need to work with those energetic, emotional, mental imprints as well as the physical. And so, so of course, in our temple, which is one of the pieces of Regenesis, the sacred sanctuary where we bring ancient shamanic wisdom traditions and modern transformative therapies to converge to create profound healing experiences. And this includes, yoga and meditation practices, includes breath and sound journeys, relational somatic therapy, psychedelic assisted therapy, sacred plant medicine ceremonies to support people in transmuting dense energies and accessing those multidimensional states of consciousness, resolving, deep-rooted trauma imprints to, of course, access that spiral into one's sacred heart.
Yeah, beautiful. Guys, I want you to see, sorry, that's my little bowl of nuts here that I almost tanked. I want you guys to see, it's a 3-minute piece video. I need to collect it now and bring it up to the fore. And it's a little bit enigmatic, but it just touches on Professor X and his science team that I just spent 10 days with in Southern Africa that blew my white African brain, literally blew my brain. I'd heard about this tech. Bruno, my partner in technology in Romania. Yeah, Bruno's just woken up. There we go. Bless you, Bruno. Bruno was one of the people telling me a couple of years ago, you've got to integrate with this science team in Southern Africa. And finally, I did. I got the call, and we brought the professor on to a Lazarus Symposium. When was that exactly, Christy? Are you with us there, Christy? When was the piece that we did with Professor X? About 3 months ago, 4 months ago?
I believe it was the month before last.
Right. Okay, so a couple of months ago, well, I can tell you, and I make a joke about this, but it was that segment with the doctor, the professor, was the first time in my broadcasting, I wouldn't call it a career, but in my broadcasting career, it was the first time that I shut up for longer than 4 minutes. In fact, I didn't say anything, I think, for 54 minutes because my jaw was on the ground and I was listening to this extraordinary man extol hyperdimensional physics, advanced plasma physics in a way that made absolute sense because I understand that stuff more or less. But his take and spin is going to revolutionize the world. I believe he's going to be as famous, if not more so, than the Teslas and the Einsteins and the Newtons of this world. I would happily say that here. Now, I didn't think that 3 months ago. I thought he was a genius beyond measure, but I also thought maybe he was a fruitcake. And because one doesn't know. I meet a lot of wacky scientists and innovators, and I've got behind a few of them in the past, and it's turned out rather badly, despite their academic prowess. This guy is next level. And I got on a plane and I went to Africa because I had the opportunity to go to the laboratory. And I want to play you guys here the short film of what, and again, I'm only allowed to show you a sneak peek. I can't show you the advanced tech, the plasma chambers and stuff like that. That's later. That's maybe in a few weeks, a couple of months from now, possibly. But I can show you what is today eliminating stage 4 terminal diagnoses, what is eviscerating, melting tumors, and eradicating disease, entropy at the biological level. Doesn't matter what the condition is. It literally phases it out. And I managed to get into this particular technology. This is the one I'm allowed to show you. Okay, so stand by. I'm going to try to, there we go, present video file. Stand by, guys. I'm half blind. There we go. Stand by. This was somewhere in Africa, behind razor wire and electric fences. The most incredible facility. Cheetahs there. Look at the cheetah. 24-hour security. Beautiful place, despite the high security. Stunningly beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. Just majestic. We've thrown a filter on the film for good reason. And then in the same facility, in the heart of Africa, this kind of 007 setup with engineers and mathematicians and scientists and electrochemists and financiers and smart, good humans doing incredible work around this man who you're about to meet. Talk about medbeds.
Oh, medbeds. Yeah, I always say when people ask me about medbeds and is this a medbed? And I always say I don't actually know what a medbed is. People are making claims, and when I listen to the claims, it still sounds like surgery.
Guys, this man is tipping into his late 50s, and he looks like he's 28 or 29, maybe 30 in the flesh. He's a remarkable man.
It still sounds like a scanning modality, still sounds like surgery is done, but just very specialized surgery. And then, of course, regrowing of things is possible, but it's always a combination of things. In our case, we don't do that. The body has every mechanism already built into it to regenerate anything. So all we do is we give it the mechanism, the tool, we translate it from where it stands right now into the language of nature. And as soon as it understands that, it brings balance. As soon as the stasis comes, it goes back to the organism that has the genetic memory. And that genetic memory itself is something that is read. And as soon as you understand the language and you can read it, it regenerates.
What are we looking at here?
Okay, so basically these can program anything. What we do is we take sound and then we convert the sound into fields. And you can see here, they are amplifiers. These are normal kind of normal audio amplifiers.
Yep.
Over there. The mixer, the software, and then it goes out, and then when it goes into the chamber.
Can you film?
Yeah, when it goes into the chamber, it divides. So we have 3 channels going to that side and 3 channels to this side. If I open it up, some boxes there, you will see antennas on this side. There are 3 antennas here, 3 antennas on that side. And then what happens is, I'll open that one as well, I'll show you.
Wow.
And they spiral inwards.
This is me, yours truly, in one of the applications. And this is very fast spinning laser lights being projected through geometric polymers that are very unique geometry that you might find on the exoskeleton of dragonflies and
well,
bumblebees.
Professor, I'll be back in a few weeks from now and look forward to the next chapter. Thank you so very much.
Okay, my pleasure.
Okay, well, exciting stuff. I had to keep that slightly enigmatic. We're just formalizing the relationship right now, and Bruno, Romania is very much on the horizon there, brother. So thank you for that. And to Shabbat de la Fontaine, my beloved friend out there, Bianca and others who are all connected to the family. It's a beautiful thing that's about to happen. What I can say, and Bruno, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to drop you out of the green room, continue here. Thanks, brother. And I'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks' time when we unveil our one of our first breakthrough technologies. I think the end of this month we're going to do that. Thank you, Bruno.
All right. See you. Thank you very much to everybody.
So exciting, Sky, Anahita. So exciting. I'm not going to be able to say too much here, but I witnessed firsthand the resurrection of somebody with, as you know, with the stage 4 terminal diagnosis, the worst kind of condition that you could possibly get. And for me, I've been excited about medical science breakthroughs and technologies over 20 years now, but this really has stripped me. I'm now naked, and I'm an apostle. I'm an evangelist and an apostle now for this new era of medical science and health science. We've got now the technological piece, guys. Now we've got our biophotonic technology, which is phenomenal. Our Tesla frequencies and our little all that stuff works, and it's mobile. And we've got the New Earth Pharmacy and our microbiological stuff. These things are unbelievable and breakthrough and vanguard. But when you've got a condition that is so serious, so chronic, so critical that you need to be taken into a facility and fast-tracked into reclamation of life and out the other door within days, this is it. We've got it. So the integration is going to happen. You guys, once you finish in Southeast Asia, are going to be making your way to Southern Africa. We're going to meet there very shortly. Couldn't be more excited about where this journey is going to take us. And I know you'll both want to join me in welcoming for the closing blessing here, a mutual friend, someone you introduced me to actually, which is Grandmother Ejna. Yeah. Hi.
Welcome, Ejna. Beautiful.
Welcome, Ejna.
Grandmother, thank you for joining us. I miss you. We spent some time together in Palenque with Chief Phil Lane and with the hummingbird from the Amazon and the other great wisdom keepers who assembled there for those days a few weeks back. It was such a touching, moving, and beautiful serendipitous occasion, and you presided over it like the extraordinary spirit that you are. We're honored that you've joined us today, and I'm just going to turn to the audience and say, before the sign-off and the blessing from Grandmother Ejna, I just want to address a couple of, as a courtesy, a couple of questions that came in here. First one, someone is saying, what do poor people do? That's a fair question as it relates to the golden ticket, a $10,000 ticket to get into the queue to participate in being a founding mother or father or pioneer of the New Earth micronation. in the first instance, I would suggest it's a very relevant question, but it's a question for each of us to ask ourselves in any given situation. I think you should pray for us, and you should give us blessings in what we're doing. The 1,000 golden ticket holders, you should pray for us and give us all the blessings that you can conjure, because we're doing this for the world. This is how we do it. This is how we break the spell, as Marsha elucidated. This is how we remove ourselves from indentureship to the citadel, to the conquestors, to the Saturnian, black magic Babylonian priest banker class of subhuman who have parasited off humanity for millennia, sucked the marrow from our bones and the blood from our veins, cast us into purgatory, into incarnational purgatory. This is the end. This is the line in the sand. If you are poor, you have a sacred task in this world, which is to hold energy and to hold vision and to invoke more prosperity into your life. Let us help be the vanguard, to be the icebreaker for you. That's how I would answer that question. How does it work for families and children coming in? How does creation work for families and children coming in with an open heart and open mind? Come in, just come in. This is non-exclusive, non-sectarian. This is open to families. Obviously, we're seeking families in the New Earth, Tennessee micronation. Can you take cash? Interesting question. Speak to the sales team, not me on that. But interestingly enough, and I say this with a little humor, we're not going to hear that kind of question for much longer in this world, because there is no such thing as cash any longer. Even in Southern Africa, they're not taking cash in cafes any longer. It was crazy. I got into a fight last week with some beautiful folk who wouldn't take cash. And I said, are you aware of the fact you're breaking the law, that this is legal tender? And tell your owners that you are breaking the law by refusing legal tender. They didn't understand it. And the young Cape-colored tiller said to me, but isn't it a good thing that we're doing away with cash in this world? He'd obviously come straight out of university. And he said, because cash, we don't need cash anymore. We just need to harmonize into this one world government. And I said, oh my God, they got to you, didn't they? They actually got to you. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, they mind fucked you, sunshine. I said, you honestly, they take your cash away and cash out of your pocket. They control you with a button from Switzerland through the digital spheres. See what happens when I do that? This thing comes up on my screen. In any event, asking can we take cash is something which is soon to be a thing of the past. So let's relish it whilst we can. Last question from the audience, and we've got hundreds of questions, but I'm just going to throw this up. Must you be an American citizen? At this stage, I would suggest, no, you don't have to be an American citizen. My first thought months ago when I began this, designing this initiative, it was, yes, it has to be American citizens. I happen to know that 95% of the golden ticket stakeholders will be Americans, but I think that they would welcome a smattering of international friends in the melee. So we'll leave it at that. And friends, again, go to the website, newearthgoldenticket.com, download the PDF file. We will be doing bi-monthly or fortnightly summits with members of the team from the business and commercial side of things, from the law and legal side of things, from the health and medical science things, the technological and free energy innovation side of things. We're going to be having constant summits every couple of weeks, inviting our golden ticket holders to come in and be part of this emerging consensus as we forge our own form of self-determining auto-governance. Very quickly, Dr. Manali, I see you late to the party. Just a quick hello. This remarkable woman, she struck me with her stick a few weeks ago for saying in public that she had recently retired from San Francisco University. She said, I didn't retire, I resigned. In any event, sorry, did I get that the right way around?
Yes. Hi, Sasha. Yeah, I mean, I resigned exactly because of what you said. And I agree with whatever you have been saying in the past 4 years. And I resigned from my job at the university, and I look forward to work with the New Earth project in Tennessee. Thank
Beautiful.
you for bringing me last minute.
Thank you, darling. Well, Professor Manley is one of our esteemed core team members on the ground in Tennessee. And friends, I think that's about it. I'm just going to bring everyone in here. Marsha, Dr. Nancy, I'm going to bring Christian as well, just because she doesn't like being in. And I'm also going to bring our next guest in here, Dr. Alex, who I'll introduce in a moment. But I think we should all be present here whilst grandmother Ejna bids us adieu from this segment of the Lazarus Symposium, which is the Golden Ticket Virtual Summit. Grandmother Ejna, please give us your final blessing. And friends, thank you all for attending the summit today.
Thank you. This voice that I am gifted right now, that is resonating within me, within you, and all who are receiving the resonance of this voice of love. I speak out for us to this great, incredible, multidimensional mystery, deep, deep, of which we are glimmering on the edges of ever more discovery of our true majesty, of our true glory, of our divinity, and very importantly, the power. Because the power of the universe is so hyper dimensional that we are just now wending our way to enjoin with the glory. And so I ask for protection, guidance, inspiration, and enjoining the vanguard that this movement is, because it is coalescing. This is coalescing the great technologies, the new cutting edge understandings and integration into manifestation here on this dimension and this plane to transform our very lives here on earth. So the blessings on this vanguard of the team, the founding team, and the visions, because it's on behalf of our entire human family. No, not everybody can join at this particular moment, but the magic and the majesty is at work now here, guiding and inspiring and integrating in great synchronicities and magic, however you want to say this. We are being woven and evolved, blossomed into a whole new level of life. So this, I pray that this blossoming take place in great ease, harmony, joy, that we've had enough of the suffering, that it's time for us to come forth into the majesty of love, joy, beauty, creativity, inspiration, vitality, and wondrousness for our very earth and our family here on earth. So it is. Thank you.
Oh, Grandmother Ejna, thank you very much indeed. And I can't wait to put my arms around you. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, friends, leading us into the next segment. Stand by here. Give it 60 seconds. I need to make a mad dash to the boys' room. Okay, friends, thank you for your patience and forbearance. The next segment with my dear friend, who has a lot of answering to do today, because I was supposed to be with him at his facility. I flew all across the Atlantic, actually the Indian Ocean, to get here in order to visit him in his facility, but something happened. Dr. Alex Ling, happy to see you, albeit through the digital spheres. Now, we're only about 15, 20 minutes away from each other, I think. But what happened, Alex?
Hi, Sasha. Yes. Oh, well, I think I pushed myself a little bit too hard in Mexico. That's what happened, really. It was physically extremely exhausting. And we went through, we drove 4,000 kilometers all together, back and forwards, between deserts. And it was just physically really, really tough this time. So I think what happened is in the last instance, I thought, oh, well, I have a little bit of energy left, so I'm going to go and do some horse riding.
Okay.
And so I slipped and I didn't even fall off the horse. That would have been much more glamorous. But I came down onto the saddle horn, from the Western saddle. And I not cracked my rib, but I damaged the chest wall. So, that's kind of caused a lot of discomfort. And so I was literally forced to take a seat back really today because I wasn't going anywhere. But I'm much better. I didn't have access, you see, to my own beautiful Aquan water. So soon as I was here in Cornwall, I took a huge dose and I feel a lot better. So
very good. Well, I'm very happy to hear that, and I'm glad to see you in one piece. And I was very worried this morning when my beautiful promoter for my UK tour came through and said, Dr. Alex is not going to be able to, we can't be in person with him today. Nonetheless, we have a couple of dates. I think the first one is tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. So
Good.
We have our talk, and then on Monday, I think that's when we reschedule to have you at our facility, which is amazing. I mean, it's great. You will see. You will like it.
Well, I'm greatly looking forward to it. But let me anyway embarrass you now by reading my notes, which was the introduction I was supposed to give today. Friends, we are thrilled to join Dr. Alex Ling at his Aquan facility here in Cornwall, which is going to be Monday now, to discuss his recent expedition in the heart of Mexico. Now, Dr. Alex Ling, a distinguished researcher known for his exploration of ancient civilizations and sacred sites, has enriched our understanding in Lazarus of global cultural heritage and spiritual practices through his groundbreaking work. Now, on this recent expedition, Alex ventured into the mysterious dunes within the zone of silence, where Sky, Anahita, and myself, and little Dante were with him and some of our esteemed shaman friends in Mexico a few weeks ago. But he's just come back again from being within the dunes of the zone of silence, which is an area renowned for its enigmatic phenomena and UFO sightings, I can testify. With water sourced from two ancient springs, the Hacienda de Remedios, a hot spring located in the zone of silence, and a lagoon situated near an eclipse site, Dr. Ling embarked on his mission to activate a secret pyramid dedicated to water. The importance of this in the understanding of archaeocosmology cannot be overstated. This sacred mission that he's been on aimed to create harmony between the elements of earth and sky under the guidance of shaman, with the support of many elders attuned to the significance of this event. And the expedition sought to communicate with the water beneath the pyramid to unlock its hidden powers and investigate a mystical convergence of natural and spiritual energies. How was that for an introduction?
That was pretty good and pretty spot on. Yes, so I was absolutely blown away and very, very honored to be part of this incredible journey. And the secret pyramid, which is just outside San Miguel de Allende, is something of a caliber I have never seen before. It's on the same scale as Chichen Itza, and as important as the most important pyramids in Mexico, if not more. So because of the connection to water. And the water source, which we thought we wouldn't see, we actually found the water source on the last day in that area. And it was incredible. We even found a secret doorway, which was, I think I have a lot of material which I'm going to share on my talk about this. And it's just incredible stuff. It's like Indiana Jones stuff, you know. So, I mean, you never ever see these kind of things. And we were completely blown away. The information within the water is just incredible. So important. And so crucial for our development, especially when we're talking about things like curing. Now I'm saying the C word as well. The most horrendous diseases. So, and I think that we are on the right path, understanding exactly how the elders, how our ancestors worked together with the frequencies of water. And it's like a coding. And for so many years, and that's something which I'm going to share tomorrow as well on the talk. It's all about how not just the Freemasons, but it goes back to Babylonian times and even further than that. So I've been kind of putting codings on the most incredible and important water sources around the world, 72 of them. And King Solomon was one of the key people, you know, who kind of put these codings onto these kind of places to distort and to stop us from having the benefits from the waters. So it's just amazing. It's amazing. So much information came through, and we can literally take the information which we gathered over the years and reverse these kind of codings into something to make these waters flow again and connect to humanity again, so that we are all benefiting from its origin.
There's a reason why Tara, Earth, is known as the watery planet, right? Because that's what constitutes everything living on this Earth is really bonded by water, and water has instantaneous, in a sense, quantum communicable capacity, right?
Yeah.
And we vastly underestimate the importance of water. We think it's just a utility to drink and to water plants within the Kalahari Desert, but it's not. It's the glue that binds consciousness.
Absolutely, it's consciousness, and also it's creation. Water is creation, and it comes from the cosmos. So it has really the most amazing blueprint of all. So this is, if we understand water, we understand who we are, literally.
Very good, very good. So what led you to select Hacienda de Remedios and the lagoon near the eclipse site as your prime water source for this project? What's the critical reason for that?
Okay, the alignment, which was quite important on the 19th longitude, so which lines up with places like the pyramids and Himalayan mountains, Nepal, some other very important places, Lebanon, and so on. And this kind of line, this energetic line, is really, really important, and it connects right through the Bermuda Triangle as well, going right into the zone of silence. And that's where the hot spring is right at the center of it. So we decided to, and also because the story of the hot spring as well. So it comes from deep down the mountain, and it has the minerals as such is really untouched, and because of its position, totally unpolluted and still in its natural form. So when we tested the water, we were completely blown away. The minerals which are in there are unbelievable. And we're talking really like water plasma rather than water. And that was ticking all the boxes for the criteria to use that water. Then the other side was, of course, it's a sacred site. It's a lagoon, and it's one of 4, which is very deeply connected to the Iritillas, to the Laguneros as well. Deeply spiritual site, very, very important. And the first water, so they say, which entered the surface of the earth from the cosmos. So and hence we decided that this would be the sky traditionally, and we have talked to a lot of elders. That's the area where we collected the water, which is from the sky. Just when we actually went there, strangely, we had Alberto, the hurricane, coming towards us, and just when we pulled up the water, we just got hit by the hurricane. We didn't see it really as a bad thing. It was more like the water kind of energized us, and all the way there's this beautiful rainbow just before the hurricane kind of hit us, and the water came all the way from the desert to San Miguel de Allende, which is about 9 hours drive, and we brought literally the water with us, which was amazing. So, and then we took the water to the sacred and secret pyramid, and it's a huge site, huge. And the water which goes to the pyramid is rushing through. This is the original site from the sky water, which is quite a known site. So and when we entered the pyramid and we poured the water down, this is San Ignacio. This is the mountain which we wanted to climb, if you remember, on the eclipse day, 1,440 meters high. So we couldn't do it at that time because it's privately owned by an American. We don't know really who it is. It's owned by an association, very, very secretive. This time we got a permission from the laboratory, which is just outside the mountain, just like, about 20 meters walk away from the mountain. And we could stay there, so officially, because we had to ask for the permission first. And then we had all access to the whole area, which opened up a completely new game for us, because there's so much information, so many things in there. So many secret and sacred sites which have been shut down previously or over the last 3 or 4 years, so that none of the tourists can go there anymore, because the whole area is completely sealed off to outsiders. And the reason why is, I think it's because it's a huge magnetic field. This mountain is just emanating energy all the time. I never experienced quite something like it. It's very dense, and it's very quite physically testing as well. So it's quite high up the mountain. So we climbed up halfway, and then we saw it's a sacred site which consists of 6 huge palm trees, and the palm trees, on the bottom of the palm trees there's a pool, and that pool usually is full of water when the rain season starts, which is just about now. And that water is supposed to be, again, something of incredible quality. We're talking like really water plasma. So we collected from that area samples of crystals, because crystals are just nothing else than solid water. And we introduced the crystals into the water samples, which we have taken from the other 2 places, to store the information from that mountain in the water as well.
Beautiful. So what is the role of the shamanic element? How important is the shamanic contribution to this work, and how does that actually play out scientifically?
Right. Okay, well, we had from the right is our archaeologist. He's Albert Coffey, his cool name, and he's quite known. He has a very open mind. He's not your typical archaeologist. He knows exactly what's going on, and he knows how much they try to avoid to bring the truth of history out to humanity. And next to him is my good friend Joelle, who traveled with me. And then is, of course, Yvonne. She is an incredible, as you know her. She's an incredible energy worker. Next to her is Oscar, who owns actually the mountain of the pyramid and the pyramids. And next to him, of course, is Eduardo, who was leading the ceremony of the water. So why it is so important to us is that we are very, very respectful towards the energies of water. And as this whole area is so incredibly sacred, we felt that we needed to respect that and involve the shamans and energy workers in that process. We also have talked to a lot of elders from the Eretillas and the Laguneros who supported us energetically on our journey, and were completely in agreement with it. And they also said that this is the pyramid to bring the water back to the surface and to reconnect with humanity. So that is something which is overall the main reason why we took this task on. And it just kind of made sense, complete sense, to connect it to water. See, because water is like us humans, you know, so they don't do very well if water recedes and it doesn't communicate to other waters. It doesn't do very well. So it's kind of it needs stimulation. So and soon as you stimulate water, it communicates with each other, like us, with a different tribe, and that kind of stimulates us and brings the best out of us. And so that's why the water had to be connected to the sky and the earth, the two most important elements, of course, for water. And then soon as we did it, I mean, this pyramid was not like there was some energy there. So of course, because it's on a very important energetic line, but from the water point of view, there was nothing, not a single drop. Right. And soon as we introduced the waters into the pyramid, it started to rain really, really, really heavily just in that moment. And it was all this kind of synchronicities which we kind of experienced the journey. It was amazing.
It's very otherworldly. I know when I was with you there and we were at the zone of silence, and there it is again, a couple of months ago. There's with little Dante. But I do remember, I mean, Sky and Anahita were there as well. I think that's me photographing you, Alex, I think. But that was a remarkable day, the solar eclipse that we witnessed. And then the ceremony that was invoked by our shamanic friends, Eduardo and Yvonne and Anahita and Sky, was very otherworldly. And we punched a hole through this cloud cover, which was very considerable cloud cover that day, prohibiting any view of the clear view of the eclipse. But after the ceremony done by our shamanic friends, we were able to witness it through a hole in the clouds. So proving what my friend Dan Winter's been saying for many years, that if you activate your consciousness in the right way or project plasma in the right way, you steer weather. And all it takes to punch holes in clouds is a 3-year-old child to stand in muddy water and think of punching a hole through a cloud, and that would be enough to do it. So it's true, as the older we get and the more cynical we become as adults, we can somewhat lose that kind of sacred shamanic capacitance, but we're all born with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We all are born with it. And sadly, until between the age of 5 and 7, that's when we're losing this kind of connection. And that's mainly through imprints from school, from parents, where we've been told that these kind of things don't exist and we shouldn't be silly. So, but concepts like death, for example, for children is something completely unknown. And I always said, you know, that you can really change the way how we age, how we, you know, the whole concept. We need to really shed ourselves from everything and anything we have learned.
Bravo.
Rebuild, you know, so start.
Yeah, blank canvas. And that's also why I love this conversation happening alongside the genesis of our countdown to the Tennessee micronation, New Earth micronation, because it's all, this is the time. 24 into 25 is the time to clean the slate, step out of the jurisdiction of the kingdom of the devil and begin to anchor patterns of perfection and start to manifest the kingdom of heaven, so to speak, and the resurrection of the ancestral blood song, the resurrection of the eternal mother, and the resurrection of the angelic template, the angelic human. It's all happening simultaneously to those of us who choose to see it and to participate, and to those who choose not to, but to rather put their focus, their attention into sarcasm and irony and negation as opposed to affirmation, to criticism and judgmentalism and condemnation of their fellows. All of that entropic stuff will lead us right into zero. I mean, but this is a choice, right? What was the importance? This is my question. What was the importance of June the 20th? Why did you choose that for the pyramid activation?
Okay, first of all, it was a date because of the summer solstice, but that wasn't actually the first thought which came to our mind. It was purely synchronicity. When we go on a journey, what we do is we just completely forget time, dates, everything, and we completely trust in the greater picture. And that's what our experience is really on this whole journey, is like a free fall, and we don't care really about where we're ending up. We just completely trust. And every single time we do this, we come across the most incredible places, the most incredible people. It's just mind-blowing. You cannot plan this kind of events. If you are on a journey and the track of the universe, you just have to trust. And it's a little bit like jumping off the cliff, not knowing where you're landing. So, and that's the kind of way how we work. And so far, it has led us to the most incredible sites and people and experiences. But the 20th was really because we actually planned to be there a day beforehand. And strangely, Joelle, her passport was running out on that day when we were flying. So she couldn't fly. So we had to stay and went to the American embassy, got her emergency passport, and that delayed us for a day. So otherwise we would have been there on the 19th, but we didn't. Yeah. So it coincided with the 20th, and that's what I mean. So whatever we do, we're going to be there on the day when it's meant to be.
Yeah, quite so. And that isn't that how life always plays out? Yeah. Sometimes we intellectually try to map reality and we try to force circumstance, and you just can't do it. You cannot do it. The only way to command life and the spirit of life is to surrender to the flow that unfolds without judgment, again, or condemnation, right?
Yeah, absolutely, totally. And that's how we work. And it seems to be whatever we do, if we try to change it, it doesn't work anyway. So right. Something is putting us back on the track, and there we are. So yes, but it's proven every single time when we are on this journey that there is a synchronicity, a timeline meant to be met by us on our journey. So and that's how it works. So we just trust.
Very good, very good. And Alex, I'm going to be seeing you on Monday, I believe. I'm going to be coming to your laboratory, to your facility. Greatly looking forward to that. So I'm shortening the segment right now because we're going to extend the segment when I come to you, do some filming, and then we're going to retroactively broadcast that as a Lazarus piece. When I can walk around the facility with you and get a first-hand experience. But as we kind of wrap this piece, what is Aquan? What was the mission? What was the vision? Why is it important?
Okay, Aquan is a result of me working for the last 14 years with water, but also with other supplements like frankincense, myrrh, and gold. And through a lot of research in alchemy and old texts going back to 14,000 years BC, so it was just kind of it was the only solution which I could find which could connect me to ether. And I don't know how much you know about ether, but it's the fifth element. And the more I looked into this, the more it kind of was apparent that there was a connection between the supplements and the water and the ether. So then, of course, from my background, not to forget, my father had a lot of substantial books and scripts and texts about these kind of things as well. So which I researched and was, kind of learning for many years. But I was working with people at stage 4 cancer for a very long time, and the only thing which really helped was the use of myrrh and frankincense. It could stop the cell mutation. And then when I came across the structured water, which are then used as a connection, as a combination with these kind of supplements, it was a completely different ballgame. Something happened, and through a very simple, well, I say simple, it took about 2 years to get to the point to make the frankincense and the myrrh water soluble, because they're oil-based, of course they're resins. So I needed to find a way of fusing the water, the structured water, together with these elements. And then after 2 years, I cracked it, and I had the product ready. And when we tried it the very first time with our clients, I had quite a large clientele who were willing to be my guinea pigs. And it was mind-blowing. I could not believe how every single person had very similar experiences. And it was not just a physical experience, but also a spiritual experience, if you like. So something happened which tuned and turned something on within their pineal gland, for example, that made them reconnect to something which allowed them to self-heal. And that was exactly what I was hoping to achieve. And that's exactly what happened. So the result is mind-blowing. So it's a very simple procedure, but it took a long time to get it right. So when we got it, we have now different products which people can take very simply. Most people like the taste of it anyway, and many people use it for their animals as well. And so it's just for me a real honor that I felt like just a vessel who was receiving this information. And I was working very, very hard with my team to upgrade of late the product, because we introduced also sounds and color frequencies into our product to upgrade it. When you take it, it's not like a normal kind of water. It's thicker, and it's a little bit like plasma. That's what everybody notices straight away. They say, oh, it's kind of a thickness to it. So we really balance the water, the structured water, because usually you see if you create water plasma, it collapses. But we have 2 different magnetic fields which we're using for the water. So you will see that when you come on Monday.
Good. Well, I have to say, spending the last 10 days in Africa with Professor X, this extraordinary inventor who's created a real living, functioning medbed technology, heavily financed, heavyweight science and research and clinical studies behind it over the last few years. They're about to come out to the world this year into next year. We're playing an integral role with the New Earth in helping to be the apparatus to deliver that technology to the world. I just showed a skit, a 3-minute clip earlier. I'm not sure if you saw that. Did you? So interesting thing with this remarkable scientist, much of his talk with me over the 10 days was the imperative nature of water as the carrier, the conduit. So he also works with water as an integral technology part of his application. And I've spoken about you, and I'm looking forward to creating the connect between who I regard as 2 great academic and scientific minds. I think there's going to be a tremendous interplay there. And I want to see if Aquan is able to help augment and accelerate the water even for this extraordinary science group. I'm sure there's going to be a beautiful connection there. Look, Dr. Alex, I'm very much looking forward to seeing you on Monday. You need to go and get into a hot bath, salt water, and get that rib cage. And my apologies to your beautiful partner for us leaning on you today. And I'm glad that she's there taking care of you and keeping everyone out of your way whilst you do this crisis recovery. But you are on instruction from me that you will be well tomorrow when you and I get on stage for the first kickoff date of my past, present, and future.
Absolutely. I will be there. I'm in top form. And yes, Vivian is going to.
I heard that sardonic laugh in the background.
It wasn't sardonic. I was agreeing with you.
Well, it's on you, girl. It's on you that the good professor will be on stage with me tomorrow.
I've got it.
Very good, very good. So, friends, whilst I've got Alex there, let me just pop my glasses on and read very briefly. Please bear with me for a second, friends. I'm not very good at this kind of impromptu stuff. There we go. I just want to give you the dates for the UK tour. It kicks off tomorrow, June 30th. You can go to fusionglobalevents.com. Christy, I don't know if there's a slide here that would have been helpful, but fusionglobalevents.com. If you want to see Alex and I tomorrow, we will be at Cornwall, England, at Tregenna Castle. That's tomorrow. Then I'll be in Devon at the Imperial on July the 3rd. Glastonbury, I think again with you, Alex, in Glastonbury, right? Yeah, and that's on July the 5th. I don't know the name of the venue there, but it'll be published. Bristol in England at the Bawa facility on July the 9th. London at the Genesis Cinema. I'll be there on July the 11th. Edinburgh, Scotland at the O2 Academy on July the 13th. I'll see you there. Liverpool in England at St. George's Hall on July the 18th. I'll see you there. Dublin in Ireland at the Clayton on July the 20th. And then finally, Hampshire in England at Thorndon Hall on July the 30th. Those are the essential theatre dates. I'm hoping that you can join me there. I'm somewhat shadow banned from syndicating information on my social media. I normally do a live broadcast and get thousands of views real time, translates to about 10 to 20,000 within an hour or two, overnight 100,000 plus, and then goes pretty lateral. And I can tell you that this Golden Ticket Summit, Alex, that I've just done, the virtual summit with our team and with you, has only got to 40 people on my social media. So that's like on Facebook, which is classic shadow banning. It should have been 10,000. In any event, the reason I'm saying this, friends, is to hearken at your sympathy and to invite you to please share as widely as possible. Alex, we'll see you on Monday, and I'm looking forward to filming you at your facility. And then, as I said, we'll do a retroactive piece on Lazarus for inclusion as a standalone piece probably next week. But thank you for joining me, and rest up tonight.
I see you tomorrow to talk.
Great stuff. Bye now. All right, friends, that's pretty much it for me. Producer Christy in the back, just so you know, she went down 10 minutes ago. She went offline. She's back online. I'm hoping that she can trigger the media pieces for the rest of the symposium. And I can tell you the next conversation is not to be missed. It's what I did with Dan Winter. And this was after 10 years. So we did the fractality of sex, drugs, and rock and roll 10 years ago. And that film went somewhat viral back in the day. And I figured with Christy a few weeks back, we said, hang about, time to do a recap on the fractality of sex, drugs, and rock and roll and see what's changed in the last 10 years as it relates to, vanguard consciousness and technology and all that incredible quantum domain that Dan Winter is such a master of. So I basically threw the same questions at him 10 years later, try and trip him up. Didn't work, of course, because the man is completely on the pulse. Beautiful conversation. Really happy to have had it. And after the segment with Dan Winter, Jane Evershed tearing the guts out of the patriarchy and disassembling the whole Babylonian bullshit around the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, Holy Ghost thing, that very masculine notion with three large penises aimed at us. Well, what happened to the Magdalene? What happened to the mother? What happened to the so-called divine feminine, or the eternal mother, as I refer to it as? Jane Evershed explains how the Holy Trinity is a psyop, was a psyop. And it's big. I mean, it's a big revelation. It's an extraordinary piece of research she's done. And I'm proud and I'm honored, deeply honored, to have that piece brought forward and doing its debut in the Lazarus Symposium. Finally, Leo Zagami, generational Black nobility, one of the highest ranking Freemasons in the world, born to it, and turncoat against the Black nobility, and had to flee to the United States on amnesty, and calling amnesty, was granted that. He's now a US citizen by the grace of God, and out of the dragnet that was trying to either silence him or kill him. The conversation with him is very, very interesting that we did. So please stay tuned for that later in the Lazarus Symposium. Friends, I'm going to put a slide on here, give Christy a moment or two to queue up the next piece of media. And I'm going to peel off now and get ready for tomorrow, where I have to be on stage kicking off my UK and Ireland tour, sending you love. If you're in England, Scotland, any part of UK and Ireland, please try to make this tour. I think it's important what I'm doing. It's a 3-hour presentation. It's a lecture, but it's fun and it's a bit immersive. And we're going to drop kick the satanic status quo on this tour. Love to you, friends, and thank you for joining me today. Oh, well, Lazarus, the day has finally dawned. The Fractality of Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll Part 2, and this is 10 years later. Many of you regard that film as the favorite conversation that you've seen of my wheezing. And of course, it was with my beloved friend Dan Winter a decade ago, when he and I were 10 years older, actually. He said churlishly, look, we've got a clip here. It's just over 2 minutes long. And I want